Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Hello and good evening to everybody here in Spaced Out Radio Land. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Richard Benack is going to be with us momentarily. Remote viewing, astral travel. We're going to see what he's up to spying around the world. Maybe he'll teach us what to do around here as well, because he is just an absolutely professional when it comes to this stuff. You're going to have a good time with Richard tonight. Dirty Filth is here with the cartoon of the night as well. Let's say hello to everyone in our chat room so far. Race fan in the gold medal position. Nightmare takes home the silver with Smithy. Grabbing a bronze medal. Roy the boy, how you doing? Steam Train Mark in Australia. Am I alive tomorrow in the future? Please let me know. Hi, gorgeous Kathy Evans, the stunning Kathleen Hughes, the gorgeous Simon Condon, and the lovely John Hinoyosa. How y'all doing? Hello there, gorgeous Rose Brooks. Rose will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind, to the left of the studio. Awesome Ann Palmer, National Memorial. How y'all doing? National Memorial will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. Dirty Filth, D. Cohen, thank you so much for kicking off the Super Chat tonight. Super Chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis, so thank you so much. Holly, what's up, man? How you doing? Black Dragon, one of our favorite veterans who listens to this show. Semper Fi to you, Marine. And moving on here, who else is joining us? Well, let's take a look. There's lovely Lisa Compton. And there's Human Carl, another great veteran who listens to this show. We love our Human Carl around here. Thanks for joining us. Mennonite Abe, good to see you. The stunning Samantha Hazelwood Gray, what is up? How you doing? And who else is here? Latro, nice to have you back. The gorgeous Cryptid Huntress, she's a remote viewer too. Worsley, the lovely Amy Vegas, looking good tonight. Dwayne Wise, welcome to SOR Chat. Thank you for joining us. Jason688, thanks for coming on in. EMF, you're unbelievable. Oh, there we go. Oh, look who's here, ladies and gentlemen. It's Doug Shelby. The Doug Shelby has arrived, which means we can officially start the show. Bobbert, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Bigfoot Michigan Rob, thanks for coming on in. And there is the outstandingly hot Dizzy Me. Rafin's looking outstandingly hot. Who else can we say is looking outstandingly hot? Well, Delta Tessercat as well. Hello, Chris. Teen, looking lovely tonight. Thank you for joining us. The gorgeous Cosmic Fleur. Dim to dim. How are you? Wham Bam Ham. Thanks for coming on in. My favorite names are here tonight. Hello, Nikki in Seattle. Love you. And the lovely Angel Wings. What's happening? And Dave Curtis, looking good tonight. Who else is joining us tonight? Raven is Ryan. You're looking good as well. Everybody's looking good tonight. Jennifer Richardson Elizalde. It has been a while, my beautiful friend. How are you? 405er, good to see you. Sinead Wellahan, you're looking gorgeous over in Toronto. Yes, even if it is Toronto. I know. Noble Patrick, thanks for coming on in. Let's get the radio side started, shall we? There we go there. And I'm pretty sure our good friend Bill WD40, looking gorgeous over in Spreaker, will be here very soon as well. And who else is here? Look at Sinead all buttering me up. Dave, baby. I love you, Sinead. Love ya. And we are all caught up there. And look at the extremely hot, dirty filth in the chat room right there. Yep. Michael Fontaine's looking good. Video game player looking stunning as ever. Suzanne, welcome again. 2 nights in a row for you. Thank you for joining us. Pretty soon you'll get a lovely in front of your name. Yes, one more time. It's all it takes. And Mr. Catfish looking gorgeous tonight. And here, I'll put the hair down for you, Sinead. There you go. There you go. Let's flop it out a little bit. That's for you, Sinead. 15 seconds before we launch. Remember, the super chat is open. A great way to support this show is buying some of our swag on our website. And give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. If you're new, hit subscribe. Horns up. Let's do it. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Navy the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire, check out our swag as well. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We got a great show for you tonight. Why? Well, we're going to get into some astral travel, some remote viewing. Richard Benack is here to teach us all about it. Then in hour number 3, the mustached one, Grant Baker, will be filling in on the UFO report, and Shirky Poo has the news. Richard Benack is a certified clinical hypnotherapist and Washington State registered hypnotherapist who assists his clients in achieving success. In addition, he holds a Master Practitioner Certifications in Neuro Linguistic Programming. His passion is helping people overcome roadblocks, create positive changes, and develop lifelong strategies for personal and professional well-being. Other specialty areas he focuses on include career challenges and transformations, overcoming negative emotions such as fear, anxiety, and anger. Boy, do I need this guy in my life. Dealing with profound loss, letting go of negative habits like smoking, procrastination, overeating, and much more. This man is going to be signing up as my bloody guru here pretty damn quick if this continues. Richard Benack, it's been a long time since we had you on Spaced Out Radio, but it's good to have you here, my friend. How you been doing? Rich, I'm going to get you to hit unmute on your microphone. It seems that you may have frozen up there a little bit because it's not allowing me to. There you are. There you are. How you been doing, Rich? I think he's frozen up. Weird. We'll get it. We will get it. You know, sometimes this happens. This is the technological world we are in right now, and I don't know why it all of a sudden happened right at showtime. We were having like a 15-minute conversation before we went there, but now it seems to be freezing up a little bit here. We'll wait, see if we can get this going. But astral travel and remote viewing, 2 very, very interesting subjects. A lot of controversy around them. Rich, I know you can hear us. You might be freezing. You are freezing up a little bit on our end. So I don't know really what's happening here. You might want to take yourself out and then bring yourself back in. So we're going to try this again. I'm going to actually Rich, I'm going to boot you from the studio and I'm going to get you to come back in because we seem to be really frozen on your end for some reason. So we're going to try this again. So I'm going to take you out of the studio, get you to log back in, but we are going to get into astral travel and remote viewing here momentarily and see how it goes, see where it goes. And, for those of you who do know how to astral travel or remote view, it's amazing what you can do and what you can see on the other side. It really is. Why? Because when you let go of your consciousness and you let go of your surroundings and just kind of bringing it on in, it's pretty incredible what you see and what you can't see regarding what's all around you. I know it sounds weird, but it's a place in the consciousness and the ethereal world that really brings you right into any area you want to go. And for some people, they have been able to see things in locked buildings around the world. I mean, look at Hal Puthoff, one of the men behind all of the strange desks the U.S. government has had over the decades. This is a man who helped. Do you remember the movie Men Who Stare at Goats? Yeah, he was part of that program, helping start it out, believing that remote viewing, they could read right into the Kremlin and see what the Russians and the KGB were doing way back in the day. That's how real it is. That's how strange it can be. Astral traveling, if you've never done it, it's pretty cool. I don't remote view much, even though I'm not sure there's a big difference between remote viewing and astral travel. But I do believe that, give me 1 second here. When you're ready, he might be rebooting his computer or something. But I don't know if there's a real big difference between remote viewing and astral travel. Astral travel, you have the ability to really go anywhere you want. It's different, I think, than an out-of-body experience where you got that silver cord that's tethered to your stomach, kind of like your belly button area. But it is something that, you can do and just fly. You want to go to Mars? You go to Mars. You want to head to the Grand Canyon? You go to the Grand Canyon. You want to go see what your aunt is doing over in Australia? You fly on over there. Plus, the one thing you also got to watch out for is when you leave your body, you got to make sure nothing gets in. Truth on that. Very true on that. Now, I have astral traveled a few times. Sometimes it's been emotional. Sometimes it's just been for fun. And when you can travel with people that you know, and you're seeing whatever they are seeing, it's pretty realistic. It's very realistic. I remember a good friend of mine, Megan. Her and I were astral traveling. She lives in Washington State, and she was kind of testing me out, working with me on it. And she goes, okay, I want you to fly on over to my house. I'm like, okay. So I find her door. I open the door, and I look to the left. And I'm like, your cat is sleeping on your couch, and your TV is kind of black. And I don't know if you have anything on there or not. She goes, no, the TV is off. I'm like, okay. And she goes, yes, the cat is asleep. So I end up walking to where she goes, find me. So I end up walking. I said, okay, I'm passing your stairwell. I'm heading into your kitchen area. Oh, there you are in the kitchen. And I said, hey, why do you have all of these rotten bananas, these blackened bananas out? She goes, hey, I'm making banana bread tomorrow. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Richard Benack, do we have you now?
Yep. So here I hear from Microsoft, and here's a secret for if you ever have a problem. Reboot the machine. It doesn't. That's what I tell customers. Reboot the machine. If that doesn't work, just format it and rebuild it.
Okay, if we end up having any
support.
issues, are you running on Google Chrome right now, or are you running on Microsoft?
I'm running on Microsoft.
Okay, so this, just in case we get any more troubles, this program works best. This is the StreamYard program we use. Works best on Google Chrome or Firefox, one of the two. So I'm not sure if you have either downloaded on your computer, but that seems to work, and we might hopefully we could get through this, and you haven't frozen up again here. I hope he heard that, because he froze up again. Darn it. Well, when we dim in our chat room, can you get him to turn up his volume? We got to get him sorted out here first. It's so weird. Like I said a few minutes ago, we were fine right before the show. Dirty Filth and I were having a talk with Richard, and it was absolutely great. I'm just typing into his chat here: Google Chrome or Firefox. Excuse me. So this is where we continue on with my story there regarding remote viewing or astral travel. And we have to be able to, when you go into astral travel, you can actually go see whatever you want, wherever you want. And you can actually look for anything that you want to look for. And when you're looking for it, like say you want to find out where the aliens are hiding in the sky, or a Sasquatch in the forest, or Dogman, or even if you're that much of a jerk, checking in to see what your own friends are doing. But the big thing is, when you do this and you have that ability, you have to be able to trust. And we will get more into that with Richard Benack here when he gets back here in a few minutes' time. You have to be able to trust that you're using it for good and not for nefarious reasons. And, we don't use the word nefarious around here enough. We really don't. But that's just the way it is. That's the way it works sometimes. And hey, technology is what technology is, but make sure that if you are getting into astral travel or remote viewing, that you are doing it for the right reasons. The right reasons. I mean, sure, if you want to go look at other planets, you want to see the rings of Saturn, you go. So how do we do it? Just find a nice, comfy place. Not where you're going to fall asleep. And I always suggest going with someone just in case you get lost. Truth on that one. And then you also have somebody to help verify what you were seeing as well. But basically, like when I do it, I'll go sit on my recliner, and I will make sure that I'm sitting straight up. I'll have my feet grounded on the ground. They're no cross-legged. I'll have my hands, on each side. And I will just sit back, meditate, relax, and then start concentrating on a target. And when you start concentrating on the target, that's where everything starts to open up. That's where you can feel the change happening inside of you. That's where you can feel what is going on. That's when you start to open up your eyes. And you just let it go. You let it go from there. You don't try to control it. You don't try to overthink it. You just really, really let it go. And once you're in that relaxed state, anything is possible. Jules in the chat room says, you can remote view doing anything. You train your eyes on to keep your eyes open while taking notes. And that's a great point of view. Jules in our chat room is a very talented remote viewer, very accurate remote viewer. And, for people out there, this is something that governments around the world have been looking into. This is something that they have been practicing, strategizing as a consciousness type weapon. For some, they believe it worked. Others feel the programs were not very successful. And that is something where we don't really know the outcome. We know that in private areas like Robert Bigelow in Las Vegas, he was testing remote viewing and consciousness. So the tests continue to go on regarding this. But this is something that everybody has the ability to do. It is something that you don't need to be a professional to do it. You can take professional courses if you want, but you can just do it out of your own home. Read up on it. There's enough information on Google or YouTube in order to teach you how to do it. And you just let yourself go. Yes, let yourself go. Think about that for a second. If you've never seen the blue ocean, like the Caribbean type ocean or the Australian type ocean, minus the sharks, you just go. It's pretty cool. Now, I haven't gone as far as the Monroe Institute or bending spoons or anything like that. I do want to try that out. Nicole Sackich and I have been talking quite a bit about that. But sometimes it all depends how much you want to forward your skill. All right, let's get Richard back here. Yep. Richard, you switched over to Google Chrome, I can tell.
I switched over to a new computer system.
Okay. All right. Well, it's good to have you here. And I was just rambling about remote viewing and astral travel and some of my own experiences that I have had with it. You know, you're someone of an expert when it comes to this. You've been doing it for a long time, and we got a few minutes here before we have to go to commercial break at the bottom of the hour. But hey, I know I didn't do the subject justice when I was discussing it. I know how to do it. I just don't know how to explain it. So that's what your job is going to be. How did you get involved with remote viewing?
Well, it's kind of very, very interesting. I mean, when I actually started when I was working on my master's degree, I was doing some counterterrorism work after 9/11. And, you know, we were kind of said things were weird back then. And the intelligence community was kind of looking, hey, where is Osama bin Laden? Where are the bad guys? What are they doing? And so I was kind of on just the very fringes on, they were looking for new ways to do things. How do we track terrorists? And so that's when I got first exposed to the idea of, you know, remote viewing. It wasn't something, you know, being openly called, but there were some people knew some people who were doing that type of work back in those type of days. And I kind of, like I said, got a little more interested in it. I was working on my master's degree in criminal justice and with an emphasis in counterterrorism. And I actually wrote a paper on the role of remote viewing as a tool in counterterrorism. And it was very interesting. We spent a lot of time looking at how it had been done from the 70s up through the 90s. The U.S. government had done a lot of research into that. I even ended up interviewing one of the military remote viewers. And, you know, like I said, it was one of those things that was very, very controversial. And back in about mid-90s, they actually just killed the project. And I was kind of very interested in why. And what I more or less found out was one of the remote viewers had gone public with it, and it was getting a lot of scrutiny from the journalists, Jack Anderson, and some of the senators saying, "Is this Satanism, or is this woo-woo stuff?" So the military just canceled it and said, "We don't need to deal with this type of grief." It was, like I said, it was doing some very interesting work. And then after 2001, the 9/11 attack, there became a lot more interested in it because one of the things with how remote viewing was being done is it's not very fully understood. how the military was using it. And so this is where a lot of the negative publicity came in. They did a lot of quote unquote scientific studies that said, well, it's not very reliable. And that's, true statistically. I think it had, somewhere like, anywhere between, 18 and maybe like 55% accuracy rate, which, is not great. But from an intelligence perspective, the way remote sensing, remote viewing was being done was, we have this building over here. We don't know what's in there. We have zero knowledge of it. We have a couple of remote viewers go in and look, and okay, they see some things, it may be accurate to some degree, but it helps give us some additional information to look at. And so this is what's remote viewing is. It's not a standalone intelligence tool. It's supplemented by vast amounts of other intelligence, whether it's spies or satellites. It's a way to look at things when there is no other way to get information. And this, like I said, became very interesting to me is, how does this work? And so I did a lot of research into it, and the DIA and CIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, Central Intelligence Agency, did a lot of research into the whole psychic phenomenon. And they also looked at how the Soviets did psychic phenomenon. So what they more or less discovered is that we have this capability within us. Their theory was that it was a prehistoric capability that all humans had. It was like, is there a bear in that cave, or is there a saber-toothed tiger waiting there? And you kind of built this up. And we sort of lost it as we've moved into civilization. You don't worry about, is there a bear next door or around the corner? But it's still within us. And so what they've done is, studies that show with training and development, we can all build this. And this is the theory on like remote viewing is it's something that people can do to varying degrees. You can get trained in it, you can learn it. And then as you practice it, you get a little bit better. And so, like I said, it's one of the things when I started working in this area, it was understanding it from a counterterrorism perspective. But there's a lot of things we can do. I got trained as a hypnotherapist, and so we do a lot of trance work. We end up doing a lot of work with our subconscious, how to access our subconscious. And this is something that, like I said, is we can all do. And, and what's interesting is, like I said, for me, as I moved into hypnotherapy, a lot of the work I do now, we can use forms of astral projection. One of them is to, look within yourself. You look for, look at your whole body and look for health issues. You can even do it working with, clients that you can analyze, their body and say, hey, do you have like a problem with your elbow or your knees? Obviously, if there's anything, you have any suspicion, you want to strongly encourage them to go see their medical professional. You can also do it, do some work around the Akashic records. The Akashic records are a great tool. It's, according to Jungian psychology, it's sort of the collective unconscious where all of humans' knowledge is and how you can access it.
Richard, we're going to be right back with you when we go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Astral travel, remote viewing. Everybody can do it, but can we all tap into it?
Yeah.
We'll find out next with Richard Benack on Spaced Out Radio. Stay tuned for the second half hour next. All right, we're clear. So our YouTube audience can hear us, our radio audience cannot.
Great.
So what did you had to change computers?
Yes. I'm not sure. My other one sort of froze. I couldn't get it. So it was, I tried to bring it up in Google. It was hanging, this app. So I switched to a different laptop. So.
Oh, the man with multiple laptops, Richard Benack, here on Spaced Out Radio. Well, either way, I'm glad to make this happen, man. It's been a long time. And it's a good time with you, man. It really is.
Absolutely. And if there's, someplace you'd like me to go, let me know. I'm more than happy to go there.
Oh, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen as we look at Dirty Filth's mess on his piece of paper here. Looks like he spilt a can of Coca-Cola or something on there.
Ginger ale, Dave. Ginger ale. Canada Dry.
Ginger ale. Yeah. Yep. No burping tonight on the show, okay?
That's why I'm on mute. Except for right now.
Last night he forgot to put himself on mute. All of a sudden we heard him belching. It's like, what? What the hell was that? Oh, it was well worth it. Hey, for the weekend audience who says I never smile or never crack up, I just smiled. I just want to go on record for that. Okay. What part of the show would that be? 9:31. So 31 minutes into this YouTube channel thing. Philip Baca, always listening. Don't want to offend with my comments. Oh, well, I'm not offended by your comment. Alex Kuhn, how's it going, man? It all works. It all works in the end. Travis W., what's going on? Bill WD40 over on Spreaker. You're looking kind of lonely, but you got the best fishing spot around, my friend. All right, just for you, Jules, I'll shake my luscious hair again. My little Pippi long stocking there. We have about 3 minutes, Richard. 3 minutes.
Great.
Yeah.
How many radio shows do you do a week, Dave?
Still 5.
Wow.
Still 5. It's an addiction.
Well, you're famous. I had a friend of mine said was very impressed that I knew you and I'd been on your show. Like, oh wow! So I think you're more famous than you know.
Oh my goodness! Don't even think about it that way. I'm not as famous as Dirty Filth. He's got a book out. I don't.
You need to do a book. I think. I'm sure you've got lots of stories.
Well, when you talk procrastination. My book is like 5 years in the making right now. I haven't written in it in about 8 months. I'm going to put some more experiences in there. Have we heard anything more about the San Diego sightings? Yes. Flares. According to my sources, including Luis Elizondo, they are naming what happened in San Diego as flares. Marine Corps flares with parachutes. That's why they were hanging.
Anytime you're near a military base, you never know what's going to pop up.
Oh, yeah. You know that all too well.
Yeah.
You know that all too well. But we got about 40 seconds here. A big thank you to D. Cohen for kicking off the super chat tonight, followed up by Simon in Australia. Very much appreciate it. And the Super Chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. Don't forget to do a little shopping at spacedoutradio.com and check out our store. We got a lot of cool T-shirts and swag there for you. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, give us a thumbs up. We want to hit over 100 tonight. And don't forget after the show to leave a comment, because it's a good way to help us with our YouTube algorithms and help us grow. Here we go, everyone. Let's do this thing. Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We very much appreciate it. I want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. Remote viewing and astral travel, that is the topic du jour, and expert on this subject, Richard Benack, is here from the beautiful Washington State area. He's been doing remote viewing for the last couple decades, and we're going to get right back into it. Richard, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, Dave. Again, I thank you again for having me. So if it's okay, I'd like to kind of give a history of remote viewing.
Please.
And because it's actually very, very interesting for people who have a military or historical. The remote viewing program by the U.S. military and intelligence community actually started during the Cold War. Back during the 60s, U.S. intelligence, we were tracking, obviously, the Russians, the Soviets, and what we noticed is that they were spending a lot of time and effort looking at psychic phenomenon. They had like 20 of their institutes actually studying this. And at the time, I mean, there was a concern of actually what we call a psychic gap, that they may have made a breakthrough that we weren't aware of. So this led to the development of the remote viewing program as to look at, how do we keep up with the Russians from psychic phenomenon? And also, are there other ways to get information? Back then, we were reaching some of the limits of technology of, how do you spy on others? You had your satellites, you had planes, you had people, but were there other ways to do it? And so they did some research working with a Stanford Research Institute, and started looking at this concept of remote viewing and astral projection. Originally, the astral projection was the term, but it had a reputation of somewhat being woo-woo in the New Age community. So what they came up with was this much more scientific term, remote viewing. There was already something called remote sensing, which was using satellites to study an area. So they came up with the term of remote viewing using, psychic phenomenon. So to be able to do this. And for about 20 years, the military had funded about $20 million into research. They had a project. They did a lot of research. They built the protocols around this. And as previously mentioned, this was never intended to be a standalone project. This was just another way to get information. Again, we had satellites, planes, we had spies, but is there another way to get information about what's going on in places we couldn't get to? And a number of studies, were really, very helpful to show that this phenomenon existed. And they were actually able to find a number of incidences where it gave them indications that they could study and do other intelligence work. It was never like, we're going to go out and find, what the Russians are doing here. But it's like by looking at a building through sort of astral projection, you can get some hints that you might not be able to see by observing through spy satellites or listening to their communications. And so just by doing this, you can feed this and we call all source intelligence. It's like, okay, satellites and spies and our, remote viewers, and get an idea of this. And it was actually in the 80s, they did some interesting work. They were able to find out information about a Russian submarine. They couldn't figure out, the Russians were developing some new submarines, what they were doing. It was so new, but they couldn't figure it out. And with the astral projection, remote viewing, they were able to see what they were actually doing was they were creating this submarine out of titanium. Nobody had ever done it. Nobody had thought it was even possible. But using some remote viewing technologies, they were able to get, okay, this looks like it might be a submarine and they're doing something under the covers. And then based on this, they were able to do additional research. So there was a number of, successes like that as part of an overall intelligence campaign. Again, what happened was about the mid 90s, the Cold War was over. They were doing cutbacks. The astral projection, the remote viewing program became public. It had been classified. It got released to the public, and there was just a lot of negative publicity about this. It was from, like I said, to people thinking it might have to do with Satanism, to others thinking, why are we doing this woo-woo stuff and throwing money away? The government just basically said they just washed their hands of it and said, we don't need to deal with this. They depublicized, they made it public, declassified it. And so all the documentation is out there. If you go to the CIA.gov website, you can, look at their remote viewing program, Stargate. And like I said, even the Defense Intelligence Agency has it there. But what's very interesting, you look at it, this is what was happening in, 1980s technology. The world has changed so much. Come 9/11, they started looking at how can we use this in counterterrorism, find bad guys, and so they started looking a little bit more at this. The British actually set up a project to go out and start looking at how can we use remote viewing to find terrorists. Now, the problem, what they did is the way they set the program up is they advertised in some kind of new agey type of papers and said, are you a psychic? They would bring them in and then say, hey, can you go find something? And the results were very poor, but it wasn't necessarily that this phenomenon is not real. It was just the way it was set up. It was a foregone conclusion that it was going to fail. I mean, you just go say, hey, are you psychic? Come here. And you don't give them any training. You don't really, tell them what you're looking for. So after that, it kind of went, underground. So I've been doing a lot of research. I haven't been able to find any formal programs that are doing it now. But what I have seen is very interesting is the world has changed. So instead of, nobody's using the term remote viewing, it's because of its ties to, the word psychic. So Now what the government's gone much into is this whole concept of what we call cognitive warfare. So it's not psychic warfare, it's cognitive warfare. So, and what they start looking at is what can the human mind do? What is the capabilities? One area during the Cold War, with the Russians, the Soviets were actually looking at was like, how can you use astral projection as a tool for influencing people? This was a big concern of theirs. They actually trained their strategic rocket forces people, the guys that turn the keys, to protect themselves from being mind controlled by astral projection and remote viewers. So this was a big concern with them. So they basically assumed it can be done if they're training their people, and they also trained their people to do it. How successful they are or were, we don't know. But this was a primary view of remote viewing that was not heavily talked about in the past. But then come, the early 2000s, the world's changed. Instead of dealing with remote viewing, they've gone with this concept of cognitive warfare, where how do you remotely influence people? And not so much using, astral projection, but using technology. So what we're seeing is a lot of it's like, whether it's social media or other ways to help train people to be able to do remote influencing of people. And we're seeing this now. If you've heard, I'm sure everybody's heard the term disinformation or, propaganda, it's all about the same thing. It's sort of just taking astral projection, remote viewing from a military and psychological warfare perspective, and being able to move it and apply technology. So we've seen a number of projects with DARPA where they're trying to use technology, artificial intelligence, to enhance psychic phenomenon. They're very cautious about using the word psychic because of its sensitivity and its perception, but they're looking to enhance our overall capabilities. This capability within us at the subconscious level, how can we use this technology to do this, to look at other things, to see things differently? It's interesting, the Navy has, spent about $20 million on a project to teach Marines. Again, they don't use the word psychic or anything like that. They came up with the term sense making. What sense making is that you can go into a village you've never been into and just have instant awareness of what's going on, being able to develop that level of awareness. So it's not necessarily the traditional remote viewing, leaving your body. It's walking into a place and just understanding the situation, being able to accept and think about it, working with your subconscious. So this is kind of, some of what we're seeing a lot of, the traditional remote viewing and even astral projection moving into this overall concept of awareness, not just necessarily remote, but even within your own place here is, I can walk into a situation and just understand what's going on. It's just what are people feeling? Just this understanding. And you can start out doing it physically, but after a while, you can also sort of do a remote viewing and understand people and perceptions, what is going on. So this is it's going different rather than the traditional, I'm going to go spy on you and, know what you're building in that, in that base that we can't see with our satellites. It's much more about people oriented, this awareness, about what's going on and being able to do this. And what I've done is I actually, when I was teaching and doing paranormal investigations, this was one of the things that we actually were trying to train our investigators in, is being able to go in and just understand a situation, both in a physical location, you go there and just what are people thinking, and then being able to do it remotely. If you're going to remotely travel to a different location, and just understand what's going on there, and what am I seeing, being able to process all this information without judgment. And this is one of the hardest skills we actually were teaching people. Was a lot of people, you see something and you immediately want to judge it, or run it through your biases, and being able to teach people to remotely go into a location and just accept what's there, and being able to see and not necessarily judge what's going on. One of the things, like I said, is an experience I used to teach was going into past life regression. For those of you who are not aware, but past life regression is where you go into, you go back to a past life, depending on what your spiritual beliefs are. And if you believe them, many people believe that we've all had past lives, and we, can learn lessons there. And one of the, when you do a past life regression, you can go back to a past life and learn what's going on. So one of our experiments is go to just a past life and what's happening there, just being able to accept what's going on, understand it, and take this awareness back. So this was it's about learning about yourself, being able to just move between different timelines, and learning awareness and acceptance, and how do other people think. So this was a very difficult skill to train, and especially in the here and now. It's very hard to do that because of the current political climate. So if we send you back to a different time and place, it kind of removes you from some of the emotional issues, social and political issues, and you can practice just learning this awareness, going in past lives. You can also go into a different past. So it's like I said, it's not only your own past life, but you can go to different times and places through astral projection, and just learn to, what are you seeing? How are the people reacting? And a part of it, learn observation. Because this is one of the most difficult challenges when we were doing paranormal investigations, was creating good investigators. It's easy to train people to do astral projection. We can do that. I can do that in about 2 months of good, rigorous training. But training somebody to be an investigator, to go to a place, now or, through the astral, and understand what's going on and observe. This was one of the biggest challenges. And it's the same thing even with the military, is that, they spent a lot of time and effort with their remote viewers. It wasn't learning how to remote view. It was learning how to observe and maintain awareness with that information. So that is actually the toughest part. So a lot of times when people talk to me and say, hey, I want to learn astral projection, and because it's like, that's the easy part. I've got a set of exercises, and I can go through that. But it's teaching you, what do you do when you get there? How do you use this information? Same thing when I work with my hypnotherapy clients. It's, a lot of them just, hey, it's cool, I want to go see, what my past life was. And that can be interesting. but a lot of it is, helping them learn from the past. And this is sort of what we try and do, is help people learn, observe, and take this information back. And that's truly the power of astral projection and remote viewing. It's not the cool, let's go visit place. It's what can you learn? How can you apply that information? What I'd like to do is, do we have enough time? I'd like to kind of walk you through my how I do training, and
let's do that in the next half hour, because we only got about 4 minutes here before we got to go to break at the top of the hour, and I want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to learn what you're going to share with them. So if you don't mind, Richard.
Oh, absolutely. No, that's great.
All right, let me ask you a couple questions here, because a lot of intuitives, a lot of people who do this say anybody could do this.
Right.
Anybody can take this journey. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of being able to calm your mind, to be able to meditate, to be able to get into that level of consciousness where you feel comfortable with leaving your body, or having the sense that there is something bigger going on. How do you control the mind to slow it down when life is so fast right now?
That's an excellent question, Dave. And I get that a lot when I work with clients. There's several different ways to do it. My favorite is just breathing exercises. There's a number of different breathing exercises to kind of relax your body. I actually was taught a number of them through some shamanic teachers, and even through some Russian special forces training. They teach that's what they teach their own soldiers to do, is to invoke what they call the parasympathetic nervous system, the relaxation. So with breathing techniques, you can put yourself into trance. There's also a lot of ways to just do relaxation, of learning to relax your muscles. It's also a great way to kind of manage pain and discomfort, is learning to just relax your muscles. And visualization. Visualization is just visualizing yourself in a very calm location. I will often bring clients to what is your favorite place when you were a kid? Where everybody has some place they loved to be when they were a kid. For me, it was at the beach at Fire Island, but it could be at a lake, a mountain, at the grandmother's house. And if you go there, it brings back great feelings, very relaxed feelings that you don't really want to think about, what are those things that are just causing you concern. So these are just, three of my favorite ways to do that.
Very cool. With 90 seconds to go, Richard, before we got to go to break, for you, when you sit down, because you have a grasp on everything, how long does it take you to get into the viewing aspect or the astral realm, from the time you sit down to the time you start?
I usually actually do it right before I go to bed. It's like, I'll just kind of go out. I can put on some music. The sounds of the ocean is one of my favorite. And just kind of do some breathing exercises, some muscle relaxation, and, just go to a happy place. It's like we've all had kind of an unpleasant day, and it's like, I need a mental vacation. So I go to a happy place. It could be, a place when I was in college, or, some place that, I've been to that has really good memories and emotions, or someplace I'd like to go. It's like occasionally I'll go see ancient Egypt, because that's an area I'm very interested in. I want to go visit there. What is it like? And a lot of times you end up, you may end up falling asleep, having some intense dreams about that. That is all good. That's how I like to do it.
No problem. Richard, I'm going to get you to hold on right there. When we return on Spaced Out Radio, Richard Benack is going to walk us through how to remote view and astral travel and see things that maybe we wouldn't believe that we could actually see. Oh, this is where it gets fun, people. You got to be here for hour number 2. We're going to learn how to remote view. Richard Benack is our guest tonight. He is one of the best and a really good dude, too. So make sure you support him. Check him on out. Spaced Out Radio's Hour 2. Next, we're going to remote viewing school. All right, we're clear. I'm just going to step away for a couple seconds. Dirty Filth, you got the conch, man. Let everybody know what's going on in Dirty Filth's mind.
I have the seashell, apparently.
I'll be right back as well.
God, everybody left me once again.
You're just too cool.
Yeah, my mom says I'm cool. All right, everybody. Let's see what we got here. I don't know if anybody can read it, but... Oh, it doesn't look like it. Well, I'm looking on the computer. It doesn't look like I can see anything. Somebody left their microphone on. That's okay. Oops, that's not the brush I want to use. This is Filth hacking up a lung in the background. Scoffing ciggies. This is another drawing in a swamp. That's all the hints I can give you. And if I didn't say hi to anybody in the chat room, I'm sorry. I'm busy drawing cartoons. I still don't have a fancy setup yet. It's coming along, though. I just love these paints. They're so magical. Just looking at them in the tube, it doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like they're too fancy, but they really are. It depends on how much water you put with them too. A little bit of water and they're real dark, but you can like flush the colors out. They're just beautiful. It's probably one of my most treasured favorite gifts I've ever received from somebody. Just totally unexpected. Greatly appreciated. In other news, if I think I failed to mention it before. I keep turning the page because it's just the way my hand works, so I don't splatter paint all over the place. Because it's easier to draw on the top of the line work than it is the bottom. Because otherwise, I'd be coloring outside. Oh, the cats are being stupid. Otherwise, I'd end up coloring outside the lines, and then the ghost of my grandma would come smack me in the back of the head and be like, "What are you doing?" See, look at that. Add a little more water, and you can spread the color. The color's just beautiful with these paints. Nonetheless, though, I'm fascinated by it. It's great. All right. Except for like $9 million each. So it's a very special gift. Yes, I'm terrified all the time when I do this. Even when I'm not talking, Christine, I'm sweating bullets. And every day, yeah, it's terrifying. But it's a lot of fun too. So I just ramble a lot and try not to belch all over the place, and it works out pretty good. But yeah, I don't know how Dave and all these other guests come on the show and they're just sitting there like yakking away, their face on there. That's just, yeah. Just like people that do lettering for books and cartoons and stuff. That's a special type of stuff. I don't know. That's out of my league. I just draw cartoons and call it a day with my cats. I use, well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, YouTube will like ban Dave or something. But
nice moon you got there, Dirty Filth.
Dave, am I allowed to say what type of paints I use, or is that like a violation of protocol or something?
Are you allowed to say what?
The name of the paints that I use? The
Just the
watercolors?
colors. You can use whatever you want.
But I can't tell them like the brand name or anything.
Why
I
not?
just don't want. Okay. Well, I use Daniel Smith extra fine watercolors. Look at that. Yeah, that's terrible. You can't see it. And then a whole bunch of other watercolors. But a friend gave me a package of the Daniel Smith stuff, and that's the like magical watercolors. That's the best stuff in the world. And like I said, they're like $9 million a shot. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
$9 million a shot?
Yes. It's like gold-plated haggis, Dave.
Look at Noob Smurf here on Twitch. I swear I saw Dave walking around San Antonio, Texas this morning. I know he's further north. Damn it, I would love to be in San Antonio right now. I got a lot of friends there.
You gonna go visit Shawn Michaels?
No. Not a fan of his. Never was a fan of Shawn Michaels. All right, a big thank you to YJ, Simon, and D. Cohen for the super chats. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. Hi, gorgeous Jessica S. Welcome back. And, give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. There's 167 people watching live, only 77 thumbs up. We need to hit 100 tonight. And if you're new, don't forget to hit subscribe. We'd appreciate it. And leave a comment after the show. It helps with the algorithms. You can also do a little shopping at spacedoutradio.com. On our store, we got some great swag there, including the Grantavius Lip Blade. Here we go.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Orient. Orient is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. We continue on with our learning of remote viewing tonight, and joining us is remote viewer, teacher, extraordinaire, hypnotherapist in Washington State. Richard Benack is here. Richard, thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight.
Thank you, David. Like I said, I'm really happy to be back. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to kind of walk through how I train people in astral projection. So basically is what I've done is I was, for a number of years, I was teaching astral projection for paranormal investigators. And one of the basic beliefs was that you can teach anybody astral projection. The hard part was teaching people to be good investigators. So learning to just look around and be aware. So when I teach astral projection, that's what a lot of the focus is not on. It's not about the technical how to do astral projection. It's about how to be aware and understand what you're seeing and just be a good investigator. So when I start out, I create a series of exercises. I actually have them work through a bunch of MP3s. And the first exercise, if you're interested in doing astral projection, is just learning to relax your mind and body. So just getting comfortable and then visualizing, doing a visualization exercise. And usually I'll work with students, and it's being able to just visualize as you relax in your mind's eye. What does a triangle look like? What is a circle? What is a square? And being able to visualize them in different, colors. So, if you're looking at a, red triangle, maybe make it blue. And you just build up that skill. After a while, you start looking at maybe doing 3 dimensions, like a 3-dimensional ball. And as you just kind of relax and, continue to practice visualization, being able to visualize a candle, we've all seen candles, just keeping that thought in your mind for, a few minutes, the dancing flame. And everybody, says, some people a lot of times say, hey, I can't visualize. But if you tell somebody to just imagine a candle, imagine you're looking at a candle, and you just start there. And that's the most basic exercise, to learning to do that, And then, once they can do that, the next step is just have them relax, close their eyes, and go back to a time and place that they really enjoyed. Everybody has at least one really good memory of a place, a lake, the seashore, walking in the woods, playing with friends, and just going back to that one happy place and remembering everything. Just who was there? What were you wearing? What time of day it is? Just by practicing going back and being able to look at that and say, okay, I remember that. Everybody can remember this. It's a basic exercise, very simple steps to do that. Next is, like I said, just going back and learning to project within your body. This is an important exercise, for self-help as well, is, just learning to relax. If you're familiar with the whole chakras, the 7 chakras, that is a great way to do it. But if not, just pick a part of your body that is uncomfortable. We've all got something in our within our body that hurts, knees or shoulders or, feet or someplace that feels discomfort, and just going into that location and connecting to it. So you have your body connect. Your mind and body at that point are just connecting. And just learn to breathe into that part of you. Breathing in, healing, exhale any pain or discomfort. So that's another exercise. You learn to do that. It also, as you build that up, it's a way to deal with, a lot of the healing and health problems as you move up. Another exercise is going to the Akashic records. Once you've gotten to the point where you can go to body, just learning to relax. And the Akashic records is this place that, in the universal subconscious where all information is. And so we'll set it up that even people who've never done that before, we can go to, imagine a library, a massive library where, you can get any piece of information you want. And you just learn to relax and, imagine going to this library and what question do you want to answer? Imagine just being able to go to this universal place and get any question answered. You can go there, and how you visualize it, it could be like a traditional library, like some of us old folks that remember with all the little cards and stuff like that. It could be a library with all sets of, the latest and greatest computers where you just look it up. However you want to visualize the Akashic records as the source of information, you can practice going there and just answer your questions and learning to ask the right questions, being able to say, hey, what is going on, with my knee, or why am I having conflicts with this person at work? This is a place that you can go to the Akashic Records. You can also talk to your spirit guide there. So it's just an amazing place to do that. So this is, like I said, these are just sort of the pre-exercises, if you want to think about it, being able to do that. And once you're comfortable do that, the next set of exercises is, as you go relax, visualize going to a place that you're very familiar with. It could be a place you work. It could be, a place you go hang out, a friend's place. But if you're just really relaxed and just visualize you're projecting to that place, you're just going there. You go to, like I said, all right, and you go to this place, just even now, in your mind's eyes, what's happening? Who's there? What's the furniture like? And you start just trying to remember things. A lot of it is just being able to see and understand what's going on. You're building up this skill of recognizing what's happening. It's just going, like I said, it's a place you know. So if you're going to a place you work, your office, you don't have any problems knowing what's there or who's going to be there. Next step would be to then go to a place you've never been but would like to. So a good example I sometimes recommend is, visit the pyramids of Egypt. We've all seen pictures of it, so we have a general idea of what it's like. So as you're just going, just visualize yourself going to there. What is it like? You can, there's many different ways you can visualize yourself floating over there, flying, just appearing. How you get there isn't important. The important thing is you're getting there. And then once you're there, what are you seeing with the pyramids? Just looking around, what's the entrance? Are there a lot of people there? What does it look like? What's the temperature? These are the type of questions. And what I do is I give the students, here's the questions that you need to fill out about your trip. It's a trip report. What did you see there? Who did you see? Was it day or night? What time of the year was it? What color was the buildings? Were there a lot of people? What were they wearing? What were you wearing? So it's, you're subtly teaching them how to be an investigator while astral projection. Again, that's, it's a place, it doesn't necessarily need to be the pyramids. It could be Paris, the Eiffel Tower, the Tower of London. But you have to just practice going to this place, seeing what's there, and just noticing it.
That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. What type of body and mind frame do you have to be in, Richard, in order to gain access to your inner self to do this? Like, I can imagine that somebody worked up or in anger shouldn't be doing this.
You're absolutely right. And a lot of it is learning to calm your mind. And this is, and I'm sure Dave, we're bombarded by information, all day, and a lot of it's negative. And so an important part of it is learning to clear your mind. It's, if you've been watching, cable news, for the last 4 hours and you try and do this, it's probably not going to work. Your mind has just been polluted. So a lot of it, I'd recommend is, go for a walk if you possibly can before you go do this. A walk in the woods. We live in the Pacific Northwest. We are really very fortunate. If you go spend a half hour walking through the woods, the science says This will cause physical changes to your body and mind. It's healing, something like that. Do a little exercise, even if you go spend 10 minutes on the cycle or the treadmill, just letting it go. Take a shower or a bath, just releasing it. But what you want to do is separate yourself physically from all the other, things that are, filling your mind with negatives. So that's the first step, is learning to let go. As you get more trained, you can do it. You can just release it. There's even this concept that you can anchor in. So an advanced training is where you put in a specific state of trance, of relaxation, happiness. You can anchor this in and call it up anytime. So it's a little more advanced, but that way you don't even need to worry. You can sit there and say, just had a horrible day, and go out, just go into a room and bring up this relaxed state. So.
Okay, I got some questions from our audience here.
Sure.
If you don't mind, and we'll get right into them. And let's start with Travis here. Have you ever visited the Bermuda Triangle?
No, I haven't. A lot of it is, I don't really have that much interest in it. I've seen a lot of, like I said, is the TV shows on it, but I've really never gone there. I suppose to kind of go look for things that may have gone down. I might be considering going to Bermuda, for an astral vacation, though.
I don't blame you. I do not blame you. All right, let's move on to another question. This one comes from Nikki. What do you teach for advanced remote viewers?
That's actually really very, very good. So a lot of my advanced work is learning to work together. And this is one of the most challenging, it's one thing to teach people to, to go by themselves. Learning to work as a group in the astral is very interesting and very challenging. A lot of times people who are interested in astral projection tend to be very individualistic. But if you're doing like some sort of investigation work, you need to learn to work together. So how to work in an astral situation. One exercise I do is I'll have my students astrally project to a famous crime, Jack the Ripper, and say, there's a team of 3 people. I want you to work together, astral project to, 10 minutes after the last crime, and I want you to solve it. Work together to solve it. And that's, a lot of students find it very challenging because it's not really about the astral projection. That's the easy part. It's how do I work together? How do I do an investigation? And how do I come up with a solution to this? So that's where you start seeing in the advanced astral work. It's much less about the astral work and much more about, investigation, working together. We also do some, like I said, spiritual work, depending on, you work with the client's spiritual beliefs and how to help them. One of the things, like I said, on a team is if you can, have a mental or a health or medical professional there so that they can understand what's going on. So when you work with a client, either physically or, through astral projection, they're able to recognize, is this a health issue? Somebody says, for example, I've got a poltergeist in my house, or, there's a spirit there. What you want to do is, have somebody who can go out and talk with the client and recognize, okay, there may be something there supernatural, but there may be something going on with the client. And a lot of times you end up saying, okay, well, maybe we'll do some work to kind of on your house, but maybe you should also go see counseling, And so a lot of it is being able to work with the mundane and the astral. So it's recognizing this is another challenge when you're teaching, because a lot of people like to go into it's all about the astral and stuff, and a lot of it's not necessarily. How much of our life is really caused by, influenced by the real life issues, our traumas, our poor relationships, our bad diet. So learning to separate that out, that's a lot of the challenges when you do some of the advanced work.
Right. Let's get to more questions here, as we've got about 4 minutes to go before we got to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Eugene is asking, how does one separate illusion from reality during remote viewing?
You don't. That's the interesting. Is a lot of it is you're dealing with overall perception. So you don't. It's not about judging. Is this real? It's learning to accept what you see, because you're getting information in, and your mind is filtering it. So think about it this way. We about 0.5% of all information we get is actually around us. We filter in. It's getting filtered out. So you learn to accept and work with what you're getting, your perception. So you don't need to sit there and say, hey, is this real or not? If you perceive it to be real, you learn to work with it. And that's sort of the key on that. It's not just, real or unreal. Is you work with the perception of reality that you're given.
All right, let's move on to YJ here. Richard, can you comment about more than one person sharing an astral projection or travel experience?
Yeah. So this is, like I said, very, very complicated because a lot of times people tend to be very individualistic and learning to work together. Usually what I end up doing is I'll do a guided visualization for, at least the first time, where what you're doing is you're sending everybody to the same location. So it's like, we're going to, relax, and I want you to visualize yourself going to the Great Pyramid in Egypt. And as you look around, you see, each other, and you see the pyramid. So you're building a shared common experience to start off with. And once, once they've gotten used to that, you can then, they can do that themselves. So, and eventually get to the point where, you can just text somebody, hey, let's go meet in, the Akashic Records room. So you can go out and meet there. So it's a skill set. You learn to build it up, but you start out very simple and just work up from there.
Very cool. Thank you for answering that. Let's go to Australia, and Rob has a question here. Rich, have you been into the catacombs of the Pope's home? Can't get the name off my top of my head.
No, I know there's a whole bunch of catacombs under Rome. I've never been there. I never really even thought to. I'd like to do that actually in real life. I'd like to go to Rome to see that, but I've never been there remotely. I've also thought about going to see the gladiator games. It's just do a remote. What would it be like to go see the gladiator games at the Colosseum? So.
Me too. I don't know. I would still like to know what the popes are hiding under those catacombs, in their libraries.
It's online. The Vatican actually has a project that they're trying to put all their libraries online. They're accepting donations, but a lot of the old stuff they're going out and digitizing it and putting online. So
very cool, very cool. When we come back, Joe has an interesting question for you. He's wondering if you could remote view something live for us tonight, if that would be possible. If not, you can let us know during the break. But nonetheless, we're going to continue on with really cool subject tonight, remote viewing, astral travel, something we can all delve into. And why not? All it takes is a few minutes of time each day to practice. Richard Benack is our guest tonight, on Spaced Out Radio. We're having a great time with him tonight. Then in hour number 3, at the top of the hour, Swamp Dweller will be back with another amazingly spooky story. Then the mustached Grant Baker will be here filling in for the UFO Report. He's got some incredible stories coming at you as well. Spaced Out Radio. We're halfway through tonight. We got another half of the show to go. Richard Benack will return talking remote viewing next. All right, we are clear. We are clear. Thank you, Donnie Cho, for that awesome super chat. Appreciate that. Having fun yet, Rich?
Oh, always. So.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Do you want to remote view something for us or no? Or is that too, do we not have enough?
So what I'm thinking, my thought was that what I can do is I can do a very basic exercise where, the people listening can go out and, basically is what I do is I'd put them into a light trance and then close their eyes and then just do a visualization of their room. And so it's like, okay, and give them a light feeling, but not committing them to nothing that would be scary or dangerous.
Very true. We can do that.
Yeah. So it's like one of the basic exercises is just,
I kicked down my light. Hold on. I accidentally booted down my light. What am I going to do? I'm in the dark now. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Mm-hmm. Been a good show so far. Been a
well,
good show. I'm having fun.
And you get to do this 5 days a week. So.
5 days a week. The people keep me going. The people keep me going. I can honestly say I never really knew how extremely boring how can I put this? Extremely boring Canada is to vacation with kids.
Oh.
Trying to plan a family vacation here, and because I haven't had a vacation in like 11 years. I think I'm due for one. Okay, I really do think I'm due for one. And it amazes me that like when I was a kid, man, you go to all these towns and cities, they had, like water slides and go-kart parks and all sorts of different tourist attractions. Now you go in British Columbia and all it is hiking. Take your kids to see the waterfall. My 9-year-old boy doesn't want to see a fucking waterfall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what do? You go see the waterfall. Ooh, aha. You're there for like 7 minutes watching. What do you do with the other 23 hours and 53 minutes in the day? I mean, it's just bloody ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous how absolutely boring this place. Oh, go to the beach. We got lots of lakes. Wow, I don't have to leave home to do that. I want to go someplace where I can have some fun with my kid. Absolutely horrible here.
And you can't come to the U.S. Is that right?
I can go to the U.S. Okay, but well. We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate you hanging on out. I want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do us the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. For the final time tonight, Richard Benack is here. Remote viewing and astral travel. We're going to get a little, how can we put it? A little description, a little remote viewing happening here from Richard, who's going to tell us all about it. Let's do it, Richard.
Well, great. So what we're going to do is give you a feel for remote viewing. This is what I would call a pre-remote viewing exercise for those of you who want to. If not, feel free just to kind of listen. But what I'm going to do is just basically have you go into a very, very light trance. And once you do that with your eyes closed, I want you to visualize. We're going to have you visualize your room and then maybe walk around your house or apartment. So just, this is, like I said, pre-remote viewing, but it'll give you a feel for what some of the exercises are. So I want everybody who's interested in doing this, just get very comfortable. Whatever you'd want to do for a very comfortable sit, lay down, lights on, lights off. It's just relax. You're here with friends, on a great radio station, and just, I want you to just now take a deep breath in and exhale and do it again. And let it go. And one of the things you're going to do is with each breath, you're going to find yourself so relaxed. No matter what your day was like, each breath in, you're feeling a little bit more calm and relaxed, just so comfortable. And as you're breathing and feeling this warmth and relaxed feeling, just pick a spot on the wall, someplace to look at. As you breathe in, accepting this relaxation, warmth, healing energy, feeling your body, just look at it. In and out, so relaxed. You're feeling really very comfortable. And just when you're ready, close your eyes. They're already very heavy. And as you feel very relaxed, Your eyes are closed, your body is relaxed, you're feeling very heavy and comfortable. I want you to visualize in your mind's eye your room, the room you're in. As you continue to breathe in with your eyes closed, so heavy and so relaxed, just visualize what color is the wall and the ceiling. Is it the same color as the wall? What color is the floor? Is it a rug? Is it a wooden floor? Is it something else? As you're breathing relaxed, and look at your furniture. What kind of furniture is it? What color is it? How many drawers are in the room? Just count each of the drawers. Relaxing. How many electrical outlets are there? Just visualize in your own mind's eye how many electrical outlets they are and where are they. You can see them very clearly. What else is in this room? As you look, you visualize through your mind's eye, you're just looking around. You have total awareness. What does the doorknob look like? You're looking at the door. What does it look like? What color is it? Does it have a lock? I want you now just visualize or imagine that you're going out and opening that door, or just going through the door into the next room, your next room, and wherever it is. I want you to look around and notice what this room is like. You've probably never noticed it before. What color is the floor? What kind of floor is it as you look around? How many doors are there in this room, this next room? How many windows? And as you look around the ceiling, what else is there? As you're looking around, what do you now see that you've never noticed about this room before? Can you count the number of electrical outlets? How many lights are there? What does this room feel like on your feet? As you imagine or visualize bare feet, you're walking. Is it warm? How does it feel? How does being in this room make you feel? This room that is right next to where you are. Is there any particular emotion that you can feel about this room? It's okay if you don't. Just acknowledge that you have a feeling, what it is, or you don't. If you do feel something about this room, where in your body is it? You feel it in your stomach or your chest, maybe your shoulder or your arms. As you look around, just notice one thing that you are seeing that you've never seen before, and take that back. And now, from this room, I want you to go to a different room, someplace right next to it, or a different room in your house or apartment. It doesn't matter how you get there. you're there, and you look around. What do you notice about this room? What do you see that you've never seen before? Is it something on the ceiling, maybe a spot? Is it something on the floor that you've never seen? As you look around, just acknowledge any feelings you have about this room. You can have positive feelings or not so positive feelings. You can have no feelings at all, but just acknowledge it in your body. As you relax now, we're going to go back to the room where your body is. And as you come back into this room, I want you to visualize or imagine what you look like, so relaxed with your eyes closed. Just imagine or visualizing yourself, looking at yourself. What does this look like? What do you look like as you look at yourself? You've never seen, look down, looking at your hair, your clothes. Just acknowledge that that's you. And if there's anything you see that you want to remember about this you, bring this back. As you come back, and whether you're sitting or laying down, you're just feeling so relaxed and calm. You feel it. You've had this amazing exercise. You're coming back to listening to Dave's great show with exciting guests. Happy to be here as you just take a deep breath in, open your eyes, and just feeling very relaxed. And just come back. And, if you need to take a deep breath, get a drink of water, splash water on your face, walk around. That's perfectly okay. And the one thing I want you to take away from this exercise is, what was it that you saw in one of those rooms that you'd never seen before? So think about it. And if you can't think of it now, maybe, over the evening or the next couple of days, but see if there was something in this room that you saw while you were just walking around in your mind's eye that you've never seen before. And if not, that is perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you have, it's just a basic exercise.
That is awesome. I'm telling you right now, I'm very relaxed. Very relaxed. I had to fight to keep my eyes open.
We can't have you falling asleep on us, Dave.
I know. That's, I was like, okay, I want to do this. I want to do this. But I don't know if it's a good idea being the host.
Yeah.
That was very relaxing and very, very, a very beautiful setup to head off. If we would have continued on, where could we have gone?
So that's, like I said, one of the basic. But from there, a common exercise I would do is you would then I want you to visualize going to a different time and place. Like I said, ancient Egypt or ancient Mesopotamia. I had one exercise where we had people go to the 10 seconds before Big Bang. Imagine just being the beginning of the universe and you're watching this. What does it look like? And then I'd have them write up a paragraph to say, okay, what does the beginning of our reality look like? So there's a lot of things you can do. One area I am truly fascinated with, and I'd love to see more, is how do you use remote viewing, to explore, other worlds. So it's something, like I said, is highly, highly controversial, but we know we're limited to, the speed of light for actually, telescopes. Is it possible to astral project to other places and get accurate results? So
that is incredible. Let's get some audience questions here, because we have 9 minutes left. Let's get to a couple here. Let's go to the United Kingdom, where little Johnny Davies is. Rich, have you been to the moon to see what Ingo Swann described, an ET base?
No, I've never been to the moon. But a lot of it, like I said, is you can do that. If you're interested, go do that, and then go compare. This is a great. There's lots of video and pictures. Go pick a spot. Try it and go see what you see. Is it how accurate it is? I mean, this is a common way to do it. And if it's and I think what you'll see is as you practice it more, the more accurate you'll become.
All right, let's get to another question here. This one from JKGN. Can someone RV into the past?
Absolutely, yes. So, this is a lot of, like I said, even in hypnotherapy, you can do is the whole concept of time is very malleable. So it's like when we talked about going and doing past life regression, you can do that. I do work exercises with clients, to alternate realities. It's like, okay, hey, what if I had, married my high school sweetheart? What would life have been? Because I've really been thinking about it. And what you can then do is you find out, okay, you go see what that alternate reality would be, that alternate timeline. And usually you find out you've made the right decision. So it's kind of helps bring you closure. You can also go out, and another exercise I work with clients is that you can go in the future. What is your life like a year from now? It's like, hey, I'm thinking of doing a career change. Can I, let's go see what your life looks like a year from now. Hey, this is great. This is exactly what I want to be. It's like, ooh, that's not where I want to be. So think of it this way. Time is a very malleable thing that you can work with. Past, future, alternate can often, merge.
I want to ask you this. Can you, if you can remote view back in time, can you remote view back in time yourself to influence future happenings? Say, for instance, meeting my future ex-wife, and are you able to do that? I guess that would be more like time travel, but can you go kick yourself in the ass if you have to?
Well, a lot of a common thing to do is go back. You can go back into your past and change your perception of it. So time and memories are actually tied together. So this is when people say is, hey, I'm going back in time. A lot of times it's I'm going back into a memory. So it's like, if you're ex-wife and saying it's okay. That was, instead of, oh, I'm really angry with this person, it's like, this was a learning, you reframe your thinking. I learned a lot from this person, and I can accept that it's made me the person I am. So it's, you can go out and just perceive the past differently. And, from your perspective, it's no different than changing the past if you perceive it differently.
Excellent. All right. Let's move over to Eddie's question here. Can we go to Venus? I've heard bases exist there.
I'm skeptical of everything I've heard about it. It's like, it's literally planet hell. But yes, you can definitely RV there. They've actually got. I was just looking at a picture of a Russian lander there, showing what it looked like. So, you can go there and actually check and see if it's what you think it looks like. So, you know, like I said, that's one of the things. Like I said, is if you're going someplace, if you possibly can, go check and compare the results. And if it's not quite the same, just keep practicing.
Okay, let's go over to Thin Lizzy here, who is asking, do solar flares affect remote viewing?
That's actually an interesting question. No, they've done studies that find that electromagnetic radiation has no effect on remote viewing. It was interesting. The Soviets long did believe that it was a form of energy, extremely low frequency. But the studies say it does not have any effect on it. So, it may affect your electrical systems and things like that, but it does not necessarily affect remote viewing.
Okay, let's go over to John here. Can you physically bilocate?
You can, like I said, under remote viewing, you can, like I said, you're physically in one location. We only have one body, but you can, send your consciousness so that it, appears or feels like it's somewhere else. I mean, it's like when we dream, for example. When we do dreaming, our body is still in bed, but we will absolutely swear, we were, somewhere else doing something else. So, and that's what a lot of, at the highest level, remote viewing is a lot of times like a dream where, your subconscious is somewhere else doing something else.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. There's a question here from Jenny. I just got to find it here. Have you ever remote viewed the Blind Frog Ranch?
No, I've never heard of the Blind Frog Ranch.
Well, let me change the question up a little bit, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You having a military background where you worked on some pretty cool things that most of us will never ever get to see, let alone you mention. Are you legally bound by NDAs that to this day, even though you're out of the military, that you cannot remote view into them?
Nope. No. I mean, they as far as I know, nobody's ever put that into a contract. I mean, if you've done certain types of classified work, you can't talk about it, obviously, or without getting permission. But, like I said, for the most part, the government does not really recognize remote viewing as a threat, or at least they're not publicly acknowledging it. So, and even if you were to go out there and say, I remote viewed into Area 51, and I saw, space aliens, they would deny it. So whether they're there or not, who knows? But they would deny it. And so how do you know?
Meaty Toes here wants to know, can entities come back with you like the hitchhiker effect? I was told that, especially in astral travel, this could happen.
Actually, I was a little skeptical until one of my students actually came back, and it was somebody who probably should never have astral projected. They had a lot of issues, and we're going out under a team event, and they came back with an attachment, and so we were able to kind of clean them up. But yes, I mean, one of the things that I teach is the whole concept of psychic hygiene. So it's how to keep yourself healthy, and protect your psyche. Basic things is that, abusing drugs or alcohol or can cause you problems and just make you more vulnerable, even in physical life, to attachments or anywhere else. So obviously, if you're stumbling around in any place, you can bring back an attachment. So just, eat well, have good, healthy relationships, exercise, get enough sleep, keep yourself physically and mentally healthy, and it makes you more resistant to, attachments wherever you might get them.
Excellent. Richard, tell everybody in about 30 seconds or less where they could find you.
Sure. I'm let's see, at my website is highperformancehypnosis.com, hiperformancehypnosis.com. Come, visit my site. And I've really enjoyed, like I said, just catching up with you, Dave. It's always great talking with you.
Absolutely, Richard. And we will do it again much sooner than last time, my friend. Thank you so much for coming on. Coming up next, we're going to head to the swamp. Our resident swamp dweller takes us on another spooky journey. Then the mustachioed Grant Baker joins us for the UFO report as he fills in. Spaced Out Radio continues with the third hour next. Great show tonight, Captain. Great show tonight.
Yep. Thank you. Like I said, I really enjoyed that. So hopefully your callers did as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Fantastic. We'll talk soon, okay?
Sounds good. So I'll talk with you later.
All right, Richard. Take care.
Take care, Richard.
Good dude there. All right, Dirty Filth. How you doing?
Oh, not bad. I'm finished up the last little bit of this drawing here.
I'm going to take a good break there. Nice to see Meaty Toes get into the chat there. I'll be right back.
Meaty Toes? What kind of meat, though?
From Toronto.
I didn't hear that. Something about Frank's Auto? I don't know. Well, back to drawing cartoons. Never in my life had I ever expected I'd be on the internet drawing cartoons. But here I am, drawing cartoons. I love it. I'm basically putting all the swamp gas in the entire universe into one drawing. And I apologize if this doesn't look like the swamp gas that you've seen. Anybody that lives near a swamp, like if you're from, I don't know, swamp country, like in Florida or whatever, Georgia, or I don't know. I'm good with geography, but I'm not good with the climate and the flora and fauna of a lot of places outside where I live, which is frozen most of the time. Well, thanks, Paranormal Pixie. I just succumbed to peer pressure. Dave's like, do you want to draw cartoons? I'm like, okay, deal. So it worked out pretty good. Actually, there's a story about that. Maybe Dave can tell you guys about that one day. It was a long time ago. But nonetheless, I'm having a pile of fun drawing cartoons every night. It's actually becoming problematic because I talked to my pal that does all my artwork stuff. Oh, I've lost the top of my cap. Oh, bloody hells. Oh, well. And anyway, I talked to my pal, and it's like, hey, I got some art to send to you. And next thing you know, I leave it for like 2 days, and then I have 9 million pieces of artwork to send over to my pal, Fabala. She does all my website and everything. So, anyways, going into Super Zen mode here. The swamp drawing. Oh, conveniently, the swamp dweller's up next. Oh, perfect. Ooh, these look like corn dogs, but they're actually not corn dogs. Oh, I'm starving now. All right. Yeah, sometimes when I'm drawing cartoons, I just blank out, and that's the way she goes. That's the way she goes, folks. Sometimes she goes, sometimes she doesn't, and sometimes it's really weird, and I can't explain it, but that's just what it does. I apologize if it's not very entertaining. I don't have anything to ramble about. Uh-oh. Here comes
I
Dave.
know what you're drawing
Everybody
there.
stop talking about him.
Yeah. I know what you're drawing there. Looks good.
What is it, Dave?
It's one of the cases that Stanton Friedman truly believed happened.
Is that the guy that puts his pants on one leg at a time?
Yes.
And you got to talk to him?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I always forget where it happened, though. Yeah, Flatwood Monster. That's it.
I thought it was in a swamp, so I drew sort of a swamp. So,
Well.
oh crap! Well, I'm terrible at keeping secrets.
Well, it's kind of obvious with the head. All right. Big thank you tonight to Eddie, Donnie, Thomas, YJ, Simon, and D. Cohen for the super chats. Very much appreciated. Thank you to everyone who's given us a thumbs up, thumbs down tonight, and hit that subscribe button. And for those who've shopped at our store tonight, thank you so much for your love and support. Wear your gear proud. Hi, Xochitl Paez. Looking good tonight. Here we go with the third hour.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you so much for joining us. We very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do us the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Orient. Orient is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including Rocket Out to Bumblefoot, reading Shirky Poo's Newswire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. It is time once again to head into the swamp. Our resident swamp dweller brings us another spooky story.
Hi, Spaced Out Radio listeners. This is Swamp Dweller. It's time for your nightly dose of spookiness on the show. If you have an interesting encounter or a spooky story that you would like to share, be sure to submit them in at swampdweller.net. You can also find our YouTube channel at youtube.com/swampdwellerreads. Now, let's chill out, relax, and together, let's enter the swamp. Hello. My name is Emma, and I am 20 years old. But this happened when I was around 17, I believe. I lived in New Jersey, Browns Mills, so there were a lot of woods around. It was perfect to go camping because I love nature, and it's right next to my house. So one night at around 10:30 p.m., I gathered my friends, Giselle, Aiden, Eli, and Lewis. We went to the woods. We only wanted to look around because this was the New Year's, so I wanted to shoot some fireworks. But we decided to stay there for a while, so we all sat on the ground and I lit a fire so we could have s'mores. Then, Eli got up to look around. We weren't going to stay there all night until Eli found a cabin. It was a brown and greenish color. It was rusty, and it had a few stains on the windows. To give an idea of what the area looks like, There was a trail next to my house leading into a small patch of trees, and if you went past the trees, you would find a small field with a cabin. So we went in. The inside was very dark, and it smelled weird like cigarette smoke. Well, that's the best way I can describe it. A huge living room with a basement. Good thing we brought sleeping bags because if not, we would have had to sleep on the floor, and it was pretty dirty and dusty, and it smelled. I brought snacks for when I got hungry. At around maybe 12:30 a.m., Aiden, Lewis, and Eli were passed out. That meant there was only me and Giselle still awake, and I was bored. Around that time, we started hearing weird noises. Not like growling or anything, but like creepy music. So I looked out the window and I didn't see anything besides our patio, a street lamp, trees, and a white small figure. We decided to ignore it until we started hearing music again. I got annoyed, looked out, and on the tree, there was what looked like a white, deformed bear. I was immediately shaking. I felt like my heart was going to explode out of my chest. Giselle asked, "Are you okay?" I said yes, but she could tell I wasn't telling the truth. So I said I thought I saw a bear, but I'm sure it was just my imagination. Then it was silent. Her face was as pale as mine, as though she saw it herself. I asked her, "Did you ever see it before?" She didn't say anything for a few seconds. And then she said, "Yes, when I was a little kid, I used to see it all the time in the woods at night when I would play outside. I thought he was my friend, and he would walk and try to talk to me all the time." A loud screech interrupted our conversation. I looked outside, at the bear outside of our cabin. We were very silent until my phone started ringing. Of course, the bear thing turned its head to see me and my friend looking out of the crack from the window. We pulled our heads in and called the cops. The bear was very tall. It was looking through the window, so we got one of our blankets and immediately covered it. There's no door, so it could have easily got in. We were scared, so after that we woke up our friends and we told them to go to the basement. They didn't say anything, probably because of the look on our faces. After they went into the basement, we soon followed. Me and my friend stayed on the rotten stairs. I heard it come inside and I peeked my head out to see, and it wasn't an ordinary bear. It was tall, white, and deformed. It had red spots everywhere as well as glowing eyes. We didn't run down the stairs because it would make too much noise. Instead, we quietly tiptoed down the stairs. My friend said their ears were ringing. I told them to be quiet. I checked my phone and it was around 3 a.m. So we decided to try to go to bed, but I wound up staying awake just to make sure it didn't come down here with us. Later, at around 6 a.m., the sun was coming up. I checked upstairs and found some of our things were not there, and some of them were scattered around the room. The bear was missing. I'm so glad I survived that. I'm never going camping again, though. Thank you for sharing my story. My family and I go camping every year in Money Creek, past Index in Washington. This happened 2 years ago. It's still something that bothers me deeply, as I was only 16 at the time. Here's some background though. It was windy and cold. I believe fall was right around the corner because we were late for camping. I only remember this because the air was crisp. I woke up at around 3 in the morning. I looked at my phone, and after I adjusted to being blinded, I saw it was only a few minutes past. The family was asleep, so I thought it was perfect time to smoke a cigarette. We were up in a multi-family site, so being across from the bathrooms gave me a good excuse to leave. I grabbed my last smoke and took off after bundling up, hooking a right and following the road to the other side of the grounds. As I started smoking, I started to feel sick, dreadful even. Coming up on the other side of the bathrooms, I stopped and looked around. I felt something was wrong. I could just feel it in the air. I peered over my shoulder, looking deep into the pitch black green belt. There was a silhouette of a man. I think it was darker than the blackness around it, and I froze. I looked about an inch up, where a face should have been. All I saw were two white dots, and they were staring into me. I went to step back, but heard a whisper behind me. It was so close it seemed like it was everywhere, but I had a feeling I needed to run. So, that's exactly what I did. I turned heel so fast I almost tripped and dropped my cigarette. The thing was only half done. I was sprinting so hard I was choking on the cold air and got tunnel vision. What seemed like an eternity later, which couldn't have been more than 5 minutes, I was back at the campsite. I practically dived into my tent and curled up in a ball in my bag. I didn't even tell my mom about it, until about a month ago, that is. There's a man in the woods, and I'm worried he's after me.
All right, we say thank you to the Swamp Dweller for coming on in once again and scaring the pants off of us with a couple of spooky stories there. As we love the Swamp Dweller around here, he's got thousands of those types of stories on his YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/Swamp Dweller Reads and go get lost in his stories, just like I do all the time. All right. Oh, a hiccup. Didn't expect that. All right. It is time for the UFO Report. Filling in tonight is the mustachioed Grant Baker.
Nobody's going to know.
They're going to know.
Nobody's going to know.
Nobody's going to know. The mustachioed Grant Baker. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. It's good seeing you tonight. I'm sorry my voice is a little hoarse today. I something happened. I got into a place when I was working today, and the pollen just got me.
Yeah, I think you had your vacuum up to your mouth and you were blowing your lips up. That's what I think was happening.
Yeah, well, 16 inches of mercury. It definitely can do some damage. I'll tell you that.
I bet. All right, we have an interesting night tonight.
Yeah.
For the UFO Report, and there's actually a lot of cool stories going on here, man. And where should we start? Let's start with this mystery rocket that allegedly hit the moon. What happened here, dude?
Oh man. So actually, NASA scientists had actually found this, knew it was going to hit the moon. So they were tracking this object. And this was actually last year when it happened. So they're watching this object and they're like, okay, we can kind of see the trajectory of this and we think it's going to hit the moon. Sure enough, it did. It actually hit the far side of the moon. It didn't even hit our side, which is what's really interesting. Another really interesting part of it is it left a double crater, which overlaps each other. So they see this, and I can't remember the actual name of the satellite that was able to take a picture of it, but it's one that we have going around the moon that we can kind of map the moon and all that jazz. So they got a picture of it. In fact, if you'd like, I have one opened up if people want to see it. So what's really interesting with this picture is you see right in the middle where the arrow's pointing, two little, like a figure 8 laying on its side. That is the crash site of this. Now, the Apollo 13, 14, 15, and 17 missions left craters that were similar to this, but this one is unique because it's a double crater. So when they were watching this rocket body, so to speak, and I did air quotes for anybody that can't see this, when a rocket body hits, the engine's usually heavier than the other end of the rocket, which is where the fuel was. So now it's basically just an empty hollow space. So when it hits, it just leaves one crater because the heavier engine will hit the surface of the moon and bing, bang, bada, bam, you got a crater. In this particular instance, they believe that whatever hit the moon was heavy on both ends. So nobody, not us, not any other country, is claiming that this is theirs. I don't even know why they call it a rocket body, to be honest with you, but nobody's claiming that it's theirs. So they got scientists and NASA baffled on exactly what happened here or what it was. And I should quit reading the comments while I'm talking, but
Focus.
yeah, focus. But yeah, so they got pictures of it. They said they knew what it was. They were able to, know the trajectory of this thing and everything, but nobody's claiming it's theirs. So we have no idea why it left a double crater, except for the fact that scientists believe that both ends had to be heavy.
Well, let me ask you this. If we don't know, or there's not a country out there right now taking claim that it's theirs, how do we know we were even looking at a rocket?
That is my question exactly. So when they said, of course, this is NASA, and when they said they were looking at this, that they were able to look at other rocket bodies. They know where they're all at. And that's when they caught wind of this thing, and they were looking at it through telescopes and whatever other sensors they have out there. And all they're saying to us is it's a rocket body. But then when it hit on March 4th. And so when it hit, it did the double impact, and they're just like, oh, that's odd. And yet they released the photos of it, and that is not indicative of a rocket. We have a lot of space debris out there, and even if you read the article on it, it says that a lot of space debris actually does hit the moon from time to time. This one is just very unique, and they don't understand why it did it, and I don't think they even know if it was a rocket or not.
And you said, how long have they been tracking this?
They tracked it for quite a while before it hit. I don't remember the actual time frame. It was last year, so it was March 4th when it hit, so that's obviously over 3 months at that point. All it says, when I read it, it said just last year they were tracking an object, a rocket body going through space. They calculated the trajectory, said it was going to hit the moon, and sure enough, it did. And this is the pictures we got, yet they're baffled of where it came from. Pretty much everything up there. If you look up all the space debris, they know 99.9% of what that debris is. They know where it is. They're watching it on a daily basis. They're waiting for the perfect window to make launches, and they know what these things are. So for them to say, "Oh,
yeah," and sorry for cutting you off there, but the United States, with the most sophisticated spying system in the world, knows everything that is shot into space.
Mhm.
They even know what type of satellites the Russians are sending up, the Chinese are sending up. So the fact that they are playing dumb on this
yes,
tells me two things. Number one, it's either American,
yeah."
because that's the only thing you can play dumb on. Or number two, it's something completely different.
So I'm leaning towards it something completely different. I think what it ended up happening is no one's going to fire a rocket, spend the fuel, and then go up, refuel it, and let it run into the moon. It was heavy on both sides, so it's obviously not a rocket body. They're hiding something, and whoever's playing dumb, whether it be the United States, they're pretty good at it. And even NASA says it. Oh, how'd they put it? They don't know the origins of what hit and the way it made the double craters, but it may indicate its identity. And the thing is NASA doesn't say anything more than that about what it was.
Okay, so could be alien, could be earthly, could be something else, another mini Oumuamua.
Oh yeah.
It could be anything. But that is such a BS excuse. I'm sorry. I cannot buy that. Cannot buy that at all. When they know when the Chinese or the Russians, through their spies,
Mhm.
are sending up military spy satellites or spy or weaponry for space to shoot down other satellites, they know.
They know what
Hey,
it is.
but on the flip side, this may be something from the secret space program as well.
Mhm.
that lost control and crashed into the moon. Could be something like that.
You know, what's really interesting with that is, though, it crashed on the far side of the moon, and not very many people besides, the American government or any other government that has the proper sensors and technology that are going to be able to see this and know that it hit on the far side of the moon. I mean, if it was something that was, where I'm trying to go with this, why would they even have to tell us? Why give us that little breadcrumb when not too many people have the ability to see something like that, let alone know that it's going to hit the moon? And then all of a sudden these pictures come out. And so it's kind of like, oh, we screwed up, but hey, let's just make it maybe false information. Just look this way while we're doing this over here. One of those deals.
Well, the craters are pretty big. The one
Yes,
is 19.5 yards. The second one, which is smaller, is 17.5 yards.
Mm-hmm.
That's still pretty big.
It's a very large crater. It really is. And they were saying that the 13, 14, 15, and 17 Apollo missions left similar sized craters. In fact, I think some of theirs was actually a little bigger. So it just depends on, it's a ship size. We'll put it like that. It can be a rocket size too, but it's got to be a pretty lengthy rocket to make those kind of divots, especially out there in that area.
I guess this is one of those that we're going to put up for debate. So much for NASA transparency. We're going to get into this UFOs. We're going to find out another black mark for NASA. These people know every launch that happens on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
They know. And they especially know when it's Russia or China.
Oh.
And there aren't a lot of countries on this planet that are sending rockets into space. Let's Google that for a second. How many countries launch rockets into space?
China, Russia, America.
42 countries.
Yep.
There are 42 countries. All right. So let's see here. Canada, the United States, Mexico, Cuba, portions of, here we go, Soviet Union or Russia, United States, Czech Republic, Poland, East Germany did, Bulgaria has, Hungary has, Vietnam, really? Wow. Never would have expected that one. I think that only happened once in July 1980. All right. So 42 countries have launched rockets into space.
And we know every single ounce of everything that's up there.
We know because they have to have special windows in order to find an opening to get through the mess and the clutter that could take things out or take out a rocket.
Yep.
This is why the International Space Station every now and again has to dodge little pieces of garbage that are up there. It's a garbage dump.
Yeah, and all of them moving at like 20,000 miles an hour or 17,000.
I hear you. Just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. And I realize the easy thing is to say, don't trust NASA. But realistically, the comments that they've been making over the last 3-4 months about extraterrestrials and getting into the UFO game and acting shocked that there's UAP flying around in the sky. Can we really, really buy anything that NASA even says anymore? I mean, they are the great space hoaxsters.
Yep. I 100% agree. And the fact that they're trying to play, the fool and being like, oh, wow, this stuff really exists. Come on, man. If you watch, and there's plenty of people out there that take all their videos that have been live, and every time something comes into the frame that shouldn't be there, bam, they're off air that quick. And then a few minutes later, it passes. They come back on air. Oh, technical difficulties. Give me a break, man. They know what's
Give
out there.
Grant and his mustache a break. That's 2 breaks right there. Grant Baker is with us for the UFO report tonight, and we are going to continue right after this. When we get back, the United States Navy, did they accidentally release unredacted UFO files revealing drones?
Yep.
We'll get into it with the mustachioed Grant Baker when we return on Spaced Out Radio for the final half hour. Next. All right. We clear. I got to quickly record something here. Hold on. Where can I type this up? Right here. Put it right here.
There. You know, glasses always make people look better, so.
Nerds.
All right, hold on. Grant, I'm just going to get you to mute yourself for a second. All right, coming down in 3, 2, 1. Hi there, this is Dave Scott of Spaced Out Radio. Happy Canada Day to all of our listeners and friends of Saga 960. Have a safe holiday weekend. Is that 10 seconds? I bet you I'm short. Oh, that's 10 on the dot. Close enough. Boom. All right, you can unmute now.
You know, you're so
Hi there,
darn
this
good
is
at
Dave Scott of Spaced Out Radio. Happy Canada Day to all of our listeners and friends of Saga 960. Have a safe holiday weekend. Beautiful.
Thank you. Jeanette Sanchez. What's up?
Right. There we go. We can kill that now. We can get this off to transfer. Desktop. File.
Oh, don't do that. I've been doing that all night.
Dave, maybe you just suck on a fisherman's friend.
Yeah, it's coming right now. Thank you. Oh, that was quick. That's already gone. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Sweet Donnie Cho. Ba 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 ba. Good times never felt so good.
I like Nani. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to come up with a second stanza to that one. Do 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 do.
Oh my goodness. And Filthy drew one and started a little bitty one. Look at that.
Well, he is an itsy bitsy teeny weeny
Wow, Dave.
Edmontonian cartoon weenie.
Oh, I figured I'd start smart cards while I'm at it. Might as well.
Alien Critter, my on-air sign is on. Just it gets covered up on my name tag here. That's what blocks it. So I literally have to figure out a way to like put it up here. But then you're not going to see it, so I have to do it here. That'd be kind of cool if I could like put it right there. Can't even tell it's on. The batteries are so low. I've left that damn thing on so many nights.
So I have well, see, it just shut off here. Let me see if I can get it in the frame and turn it back on. There you go. There's my owl. And it's actually connected to the USB in the back of my router. I found one back there.
Hey, there's Joseph Syracuse. How you doing, man? All right. We got like 30 seconds. Thank you to Sweet Donicho. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Eddie, Thomas, YJ, Simon, and D. Cohen for the amazing super chats tonight. Very much appreciate your love and support. And thank you to everybody who gave us a thumbs up. Thank you to their new subscribers. Thank you to people who bought Grant's t-shirt at our store, spacedoutradio.com. Here we go. We rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears. Want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. Grant is back for the UFO Report, hanging on out with us, telling us about the U.S. Navy accidentally releasing files unredacted.
Yes, unredacted files on accident. And boy, were they quick to get rid of them, man. They deleted those things as quick as they sent them. And just for anybody that can't see, I love the shirt, Dave. Thank you so much. I was the first one that bought one, I hope. I did it at literally minutes after he created it. It's awesome. If anybody wants to see any SOR swag and get some moo-woo stuff over there on SOR at spacedoutradio.com, go pick that stuff up. It's absolutely amazing. So back to the story. More than 60 pages on encounters that they had a proposed redaction. So everything was actually kind of outlined in red. Should we redact this? Should we redact that? But it got released unaltered. And it was amazing that they did that. And so I actually have a few of the here, let me pop one up real quick. Some of the things that they had seen. That Grantavius Mac shirt. I love it.
Focus, man. We got a story to come on.
Oh, all right. So all these documents revealed encounters, and they said they were drones flying over 6 warships. And this happened in March of 2019. So everybody knows that the phenomenon of UAPs and everything, and all these, you have people that are saying they're buzzing all these warships. You have other people that have been reporting on these saying, no, they're not what they call quadcopters and stuff like that. So there's a lot of these mysterious drones, so to speak, is what they're saying, and some of these things get as close as 500 feet to the vessels, and they're doing all kinds of stuff. They're circling them, and even the vessels have tried to communicate with them at certain times, and they don't ever communicate back. There's been people that have said no, commanders of these ships saying no, these are just drones. Well, then there's other people going, no, they're not drones, these things are just unidentified aerial phenomenon that's flying around these major warships that we have out in the ocean. They're not unexplainable. There's plenty of pictures of them. I'm actually looking at them right now because I'm still like enthralled with them. But the fact that they literally had this redaction file that they threw out on the internet with all the redactions that they didn't redact anything. It's all just outlined in red, and they threw it out there, and people caught it. And that was what's gravy about it. People caught these things. So none of them look like drones to me. And they have, so the file has encounters which were believed to be unknown drones, but most of them are truly unexplainable. I want to put up one picture if I can, Dave. Does this look like a drone to anybody? That is a triangle. Now, granted, this is night vision. That's why it's green, but this is a triangle. This is the classic triangle that people are seeing. This is the stuff that they're like, oh, these are drones. No, man, they're not drones. So out of all these redactions, and none of them got redacted. None of the photos got redacted. This is what they're seeing out there. Here's another one. This is the crosshairs of whatever sensor they have. These are not drones. They're coming with 500 feet of the vessels, and every single one of them. Here's another one. And that looks like one of the triangles with the lights on this time. And here's another one, and this is also in the night vision scope that they have there. And yeah, I really wish I would have caught that file before it got redacted. I would have loved to have seen exactly what was in there.
I think we all would have liked to have seen it. And, there's going to be somebody on Reddit who probably has grabbed it and was quick on the draw. And there's always those people who are much faster than you and I on that kind of stuff. But, I mean, the fact that it got through, it's pretty interesting. Very interesting. All right, let's move on to another story here. UFO expert says what?
Oh, this is actually tied into exactly what we were just talking about. So everybody knows Jeremy Corbell, correct? He's actually just recently started popping up all over the internet and doing more interviews with a lot of people. In fact, I've seen him on a couple other podcasts today. So he's talking about at least 100 craft that have swarmed these Navy fleets, these Navy warships, which is the exact same thing we're talking about just a minute ago, which was unredacted. Now, there was an actual, let me think of his name. There's Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence, Scott Bray. So he told Congress that, no, these are just drones. According to Jeremy Corbell, he's like, no, I've talked to some of the seamen that were on those ships and some of the crew members that were there. And at least a dozen of them that watch these things fly around these ships are like, these aren't drones, man. They're not drones. There is one picture, and I didn't have it ready, unfortunately, that kind of looks like a drone. I'm actually looking for it, and I haven't been able to find it. It kind of looks like a quadcopter, and that's exactly what they're saying it is. So the U.S. government is taking the UFO seriously, though. I mean, but when you have a dozen crew members on these, warships, I guess they call it, or whatever's out there, whatever we got out there, and they're like, no, these have otherworldly capabilities, where they're doing 90-degree turns. They're going from 500 feet from the ship up into the atmosphere. One of them even disappeared underwater. And in fact, I think they have video of that. That's the one that came out not too long back. So it's definitely, when you have Scott Bray saying, oh, no, they're just drones, but then everybody else is saying, no, these are literal UFOs, UAPs, and which have been verified by the Pentagon. I mean, the Pentagon has literally said, no, we have unidentified aerial phenomena up there. We don't know what they are. So why call them a drone? They're not a drone. And having one disappear in the ocean without a trace, they can go from 0 to 80,000, or I think 80,000 feet in seconds. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And these things last for hours. That's the craziest thing. They're out in the middle of the ocean. You have battery operated drones. We don't have any nuclear operated drones out there, at least as far as I know, that America or any other country can make. And these things are out there doing this stuff and buzzing these warships for hours, like up to 4 or 5 hours at a time, with lights flashing and buzzing around, and there's no capability that we have right now that can do that, at least to our knowledge.
Well, that's the interesting part. As this story grows, we're going to learn more and more moving on. We really are. And it's going to be amazing to see how this turns out. It's going to be very amazing to see, because eventually those stories are going to come out. Eventually those stories are going to have some answers. And it's going to be quite the how can we put it? The strangeness of when we see what's real, what's fake, what's ours, and what's not.
Well, realistically, all you got to do is answer one question. Who's the one in control of those objects? Whether they're manned, unmanned, our drones, somebody else's drones. I mean, whoever's controlling it, if it's some guy in a booth with a couple of joysticks and chewing on a bubble gum, that's us. But realistically, if these things are moving in ways that physics cannot even understand, and I don't think it's ours. Even if it's a drone from a different planet or even from a different dimension, these things are doing stuff that we can't. So I just want to know who the pilot is. That'll tell me everything.
That's it. That's all we need, man. Just tell us who the pilot is. Yeah. All right, final story tonight. Pentagon study led by researcher who believes in the supernatural. Obviously, this story has to be about Troy Taylor.
Yep. Or Travis Taylor.
Travis Taylor, pardon me.
Yep. Mr. PhD. This gentleman, so everybody knows about the big 144 event when they were supposed to give us everything about UAPs and UFOs. So when that happened, Travis Taylor says he was actually the lead scientist that was involved in that, which was actually kind of interesting because, I mean, he had some extraordinary claims when he was on TV, because this guy's a TV personality as well. He's certified, he's qualified. The guy's got a PhD in, optical physics. He's got a PhD in aerospace and engineering. He's got 5 different science degrees. Currently working in advanced propulsions. I mean, the guy is literally credentialed through and through. Like, he really is credentialed. But it was interesting to find out that he was part of the original UFO report that came out way back when. Now, this gentleman also recently went on George Knapp, and let's see, what did he say on George Knapp? Now, see, I'm getting my stuff mixed up. But anyways, he was saying that he met Jay Stratton, and who's one of his DOD friends. And at the time he was working in Army aerospace, or let me think, gosh, I'm going to mess it all up. Is Army Space and Missile Defense Command. There we are. And he did that from 2007 till 2 months ago. And not only him, but his buddy just retired recently. So he retired 2 months ago and his buddy retired recently, but they're all just coming out with this is a guy from Ancient Aliens. And what's funny is I don't really watch Ancient Aliens, so I'm going to have to go back and kind of run through those. But both of those guys right now are in Radiance Technologies in Huntsville, Alabama, and which is a base defense contractor, and they're still working that stuff out. But yeah, this dude is he's part of the Skinwalker Ranch TV show, and the whole gist of this story is this is a guy, it's kind of like bringing Hollywood into, the Hollywood science fiction. When you have Ancient Aliens, you got to kind of take some of the stuff they say with a grain of salt. And this guy comes out and says, oh yeah, I was a lead scientist for this. Well, then there was another gal, I think her name is Susan, I don't remember her last name, it starts with a G, Group or something like that. Anyways, she's what's that? Yes, Susan. Thank you. So she actually said that he was a part of it. He wasn't the lead scientist, but he was there as one of the scientists on the scene when they were doing all the UFO research and everything else, which is very, very interesting. And a lot of his colleagues don't even like the guy. In fact, there's some people that are anti-UFO, kind of bashers. They're the people that don't want to believe in this stuff. And they're just like, no, we're not going to follow this dude around. He has a lot of critics.
I'm glad you brought that up because, I mean, here's a dude with 3 master's degrees, a doctorate, and 2 bachelor's degrees. I mean, you're not a dummy
No.
when you have that kind of education. You're actually pretty smart.
Yeah.
Okay. And the idea that someone would question his knowledge, and there are people out there, like you said, questioning his knowledge regarding this subject is unfathomable. It's unbelievable. But I understand, though, where people are a little upset and distrusting. Because even I thought it last week, Grant, where I brought it up on the show, is he not double dipping? Is he not playing the role of hey, I want disclosure as much as you do. I'm here to help. But then on the flip side, we find out that he's playing the government card as well as one of the top UFO scientists at the Pentagon.
Yep.
And you know what? If we look at everybody here, dude, in regards to this, we've always said, I wonder how much influence the U.S. government has in ufology. Well, damn it, our top scientist now is that guy, and it's outed.
It is. I mean, he even he's got quite a few critics, and there's actually one. I'm not going to mention the author's name, and he's a UFO skeptic, and he's an author, and he quoted, and I'm looking at it now, and because I had to look it up exactly what he said because I don't want to mess it up. He says, because of the Pentagon's willingness to work with Taylor. Anyways, he says, quote, I'm starting to see why the government's task force was so unsuccessful in identifying its UAPs. You know, that's just something it's upsetting because, I mean, you're an author and you might be a UFO skeptic. I don't know this guy's credentials at all, but you got a guy that has all these degrees and yeah, he might church up what he did a little more than what he may actually been a part of, but at the same time, he still did it. he was still there. And then Susan sits there and acknowledges it. So, I mean, it's just, it's kind of a give and take.
Grant, thanks for a great UFO report. You can stick around if you want, because right now we got to get to Shirky Poo's news.
What time is it? It's time for Shirky Poo's news.
Yeah, Shirky Poo has this all set up for tonight. A commercial jet is seen flying close by a silvery aircraft, which was reportedly filmed near an airport somewhere in the world. Yeah. In Colombia, Medellin, the capital, high-definition video shows a mysterious cube-shaped UFO appearing to hover over the city. It appears to be shaped like a cube or a diamond. To me, it looks like a balloon that doesn't have a tether. Lorna Mosquera posted footage on YouTube. He said it was filmed on 4K mode on his iPhone 13 Pro. It shows the view from his apartment balcony looking over to the tower blocks and mountains in the distance. Dark object can be seen a few thousand feet up, and he zooms in to show a closer look of what appears to be a metallic cube or diamond. Guys, what the hell is that? He is heard saying on the clip. Lorna, who calls himself a UFO skeptic, wonders aloud in the video if it could be a weather balloon, but then rules that out. He says, look at the shape, though. I swear to God, I have no experience on Photoshop or whatever. You can examine this video how much you want. Bro, I don't know what the heck that is. A plane then flies into view on the video not far from the cube. Lorna pans out to show its landing path to the city's airport. He adds, if that's a UFO, Medellin is a city full of cell phones, so we'd hear about it. This is the first time in my life that such a thing has happened to me, like a UFO sighting, whatever. I'm a huge skeptic, like huge, but also what the hell is that? Lorna said he ended the video there so he could FaceTime his family to show it to them live. He said the object was dead still for 8 minutes, then started drifting behind the mountains. He said, I have more similar footage, but freaking out right now. One viewer replied, Bro, upload all the photos, video, whatever you have. This is one of the best UFO videos I've seen. So I'm still thinking there's a string on this one. Weather balloon. If it's floating softly, likely weather balloon. Look at that, being skeptical. 2 employees have filed a lawsuit against a residential services company after they claim they were fired for refusing to participate in the firm's Christian prayer meetings. The lawsuit was filed by the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission on behalf of a customer service representative, her name, Mackenzie Saunders, and construction manager John Magaha, the latter of who identifies as an atheist. Yeah. The EEOC says the company in question, North Carolina-based Aurora Pro Services, unlawfully required employees to participate in religious prayer sessions as a condition of employment. On occasion, the prayer meetings, which sometimes went up to 45 minutes, were requested and offered for poor-performing employees who were identified by name. The company forced all employees to attend meetings from June 2020 that included Bible readings, Christian devotionals, and asked for their workers to lead their own prayers. Aurora's owner even took a roll call before the meetings and would reprimand those who did not attend, the lawsuit claims. When Magaha asked to be excused from the meeting later in the year, the company docked his pay and then subsequently fired him. Surprise, surprise, just a few months later, they let go of Saunders after she stopped attending the meetings as they conflicted with her agnostic beliefs. Melinda C. Dugas, regional attorney for the EEOC, said federal laws protect employees from having to choose between their sincerely held religious beliefs and their jobs. I don't think that's going to go well for the company. I really don't. Here's a weird one. It's a major faux pas. No coming back from this one, but this is a pretty bad mistake. When your future bride's wedding gown was buried with her grandmother, who was wearing the fancy dress when she put it on 6 feet under. Well, she didn't put it on. Somebody put it on her. Yep, that's right. Granny was buried in a $2,300 wedding gown meant to be worn on her grandchild's big day. The story has gone viral by the owner, Cassia's Bridal and Special Occasions Boutique in Chicago. The original video where Cassia tells the story has been viewed more than 4.5 million times. Why do we always have to say how many times it's been viewed? I got to quit that crap. He said, no alterations are not an option. There's nothing to alter. I need to know if you can reorder the dress. Cassia called the dress manufacturer, was told that due to customizations to the gown, it would take a while to remake. Well, I guess they're getting a new one. Yeah, thank you to Grant Tavius for everything that you do. Thank you for Swamp Dweller, the super crowd we had tonight, and Richard Benack hanging on out, telling us about remote viewing. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, LGAP, Twitch, Facebook, the Space Travelers Club, and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, Grant's Mustache says you can bring them too. Good night. All right. right, Grant Tavius, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, man. How you doing? Excuse me. Oh, by the way, I just checked out that cube-shaped UFO pilot video that just came out. Dude, that thing is it's ridiculous when you zoom in it. It is not a weather balloon. That thing is wild.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's probably a flare on a parachute or something.
Could be. I mean, it could be.
Parachute. Hi, I'm Dirty Filth, the parachute. Was your favorite
that high?
Your favorite Canadian band is the Parachute Club.
Is that an actual band?
Oh, they were horrible in the 80s.
I'm gonna have to go look them up right now, Dave.
Oh, they were terrible.
Hey, James Weston, my mustache does not need its own ticket. It's so sexy. It just takes every seat on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically Grant saying he has a pilot's license.
Oh, I wish. If I had the eyes for it, I would do it.
Oh, my legs are killing me tonight.
You know what the solution to that, Dave, is? Cut them off and put some robotic legs on there. We got the kind of technology now.
Yeah. Eventually. Eventually.
Robotic
Well,
legs.
nonetheless, I'm drawing a 5-card set of San Diego UFO lights, and I don't care what anybody says.
You know what? I have to finish my gripe here on
Finish your gripe, Dave.
On some things. Oh, hold on. What's this?
I'm going to go to mute so you have to listen to me heavy breathing into this stuff. Are we still live?
Yeah, of course we're still live. Hold on.
Yeah. I'll refrain from swearing profusely.
James. 1 second, guys.
You're good. I'm just reading comments real quick up top.
All right.
Oh, my eyes burn.
All right. All right, there we go. Let's throw that in the garbage. Sorry, I had an email I had to read. Oh, for God's sake, just get the hell up there, you piece of poo. So you know when you're at work on a daytime job, I know you work for yourself, Grant, but your nemesis, because everybody has a nemesis at work. I don't care who you are. Nobody gets along with everybody. Everyone has a nemesis.
Oh yeah.
Well, my nemesis today started pouting and acting up and threw a tantrum. I had to remind him who's number 2 in the building today. That felt pretty good.
Oh man.
I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, believe me, I've been there.
I called up the owner and I'm like,
just people, you know, there's always that one person that you work with. You know, it's like, Jeffrey, come on, you had one job, man. But there are some people that literally will bend your character in half. And it's everything you can do. You're like, I am in the workplace.
Yeah.
I'm in the workplace.
My boss wants to sell so bad.
Oh man.
He just wants to move to Mexico.
Oh,
And
dog face boy, you don't want to work with me, my man. It's a struggle. I play with a lot of carpet. We'll just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. You know, the good thing about my job though is I get instant gratification. Instant gratification. And then my customers are always so excited. And it's actually a pretty good feeling. I got a pretty darn good job.
It's like painting.
It's a lot of work, but it's pretty gratifying.
So I was reading a bunch of earlier tonight before the show. I was checking out Vacation.
Oh goodness.
Okay.
Got carpet on my face, huh? Thanks, bud.
I was checking out vacations of what to do with kids in Western Canada. Got to go somewhere. I need a holiday.
Oh, hold on. What happened? I can't hear anybody.
You can't hear Sweet Piss All right now.
Nope. There we are.
Of course you can't. Can you hear us now?
Yep.
So anyways, I'm looking around, where can I go on a family vacation this year and have some fun? I went through about 10 different British Columbia websites, and it was all hiking, camping, and beaches.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Hiking, camping, and beaches. And the odd one had a zip line in there. But all I'm thinking is, there is nothing to do in this province for kids. Nothing. No amusement parks until the P&E later in the summer. Okay? I don't want to travel to do something I can do 3 miles from my house.
I knew you were going to say that.
If I want to go hiking, which is an absolute no-no in my world, okay, I'll go hiking. If I'm going to go play in the mountains, I'll grab my side-by-side or my Jeep and we'll go for a rep. All right? And I like doing that. But I do that at home. I want to do something that I don't do at home. I want to do something with my boy that we're not going to do at home. And I just can't believe how horrible this province is for having activities for children. It's terrible. Oh, and the odd one has, well, come to our city and play in our water park. Really? Really? Like,
I got sprinklers too, man. You could always come down here.
I can't. That's the problem. With idiot Trudeau and his everybody in the world still has COVID. We have to the lineups here for passports are months in advance.
Oh my.
Plus he's prancing around Europe right now.
Of course. So my vacation, I can go to the US because I have a passport. My son doesn't have a passport, so I can't take him. Right?
That sucks.
It totally sucks.
Man, my 4-year-old has a passport. They just give them out here. They don't care. It sucks, man.
Horrible. It's absolutely horrible that you can't. You go next door to Alberta, no offense, Filth, but I don't want to go looking at for friggin' dinosaur bones. It's all that's there. I'm sorry. Watching a rodeo doesn't do it for me.
Rodeos are lame, and what do? Go to the beer factory or, like you said, look at dinosaur bones?
Hey, don't diss the beer factory, my man. Don't diss the beer
I'm not
factory.
dissing beer factory, but family vacation. Like, what did you? Let's go to Alberta. It's hot. It's sweaty, and you get to look at dirt.
Yeah, I
Maybe if
mean,
you're a family of anthropologists, that's great.
and I'm sorry, I don't do those holidays where you go visit family.
Oh,
You know,
God.
I hate those holidays. I hated them when I was a kid. I hate them now. You know, because I know the minute if I said to my parents, "Hey, I'm going to Edmonton for holidays," right? My my parents would be like, "Oh, well, are you going to go visit cousin Gary and cousin Wayne and your cousin Marlene and Madeline and all of these?" No, fuck no, I'm not doing that. No, no.
I want a vacation. I don't want a freaking hemorrhage in the brain.
You know,
Oh, man. I can't believe they don't have any kind of amusement parks.
I remember when I was a kid, every time, every Christmas, either this way or that way. I mean, I have to go visit my dad's Aunt Lily. Aunt Lily was like 500 pounds and she had a mustache. Okay.
She probably made some good pierogies, though.
She was married. I forget the guy's name. He was like a famous blues musician. And he moved up.
Randy T.
No, hold on. Famous blues musician in Edmonton. From Edmonton. Famous deceased. Let's go deceased.
Well, with all respect to that guy, I can draw better cartoons than him, so too bad for that guy.
Big Miller. That's his name. Jazz legend. Big Miller.
Big Miller.
Yeah.
I've heard that name. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, him and Aunt Lily, you know,
He was probably the cool one then.
to this day, I've never heard his music.
Oh.
I got to hear his music one day. I'm sure there's some on YouTube.
Are you into jazz, Dave? Is that
Love
what
it.
I'm hearing?
Jazz and blues, I love. You know what? As much as I love, I love going out at night to places that have music.
Mm-hmm.
But give me a jazz bar or a blues bar. Oh, I would love to go down south and experience like a real blues bar. That would be a friggin' awesome experience.
You have to have the barbecue too, Dave.
Oh, of course.
You need to go to New Orleans, and that place is just
Nolans?
New Orleans.
I'm talking like Mississippi.
Oh, that's some good food down there.
I want to listen to it. I want to feel it.
Big Miller? She was with Big Miller?
Yeah.
Well, he's a cool looking dude.
I know.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my goodness, he did this for a long time.
Dude was awesome, man. He was awesome.
Oh my, there's a picture of him when he was younger than me. Holy smokes.
He was active for 50 years till he died. He died young at 69.
Wow. So he did Want to See My Baby in 1960. That's got 4,500 views.
Yeah, Clarence Big Miller. The dude could play, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to some of that later.
I worked with Clarence. He was allergic to garlic. It's absolutely terrible. It's a death sentence.
Allergic to garlic? Are you serious?
Yeah, he was. It was terrible. I feel.
How do you be allergic to garlic, which is one of the healthiest things you can eat?
I'm not sure, but he was allergic to garlic, and he served like 40 some years in the military, Canadian military, and I was like, man, if I was allergic to garlic, it would have been a rope like 1,000 years before that. Like, I would have went back in time. If I would have had my time to use like time machine one time, that would be it. It's like I'm gonna reverse that garlic stuff because that was weird because we had a Christmas dinner at work and there was some garlic stuff there and the guy like swelled up and everything. It was really weird. And I was like, okay, it's fake and settled down, blob. And then the next year, Christmas dinner thing, there was still some garlic and stuff. And the guy's like, I got to leave. And we're like, okay, he's shooting crap with us. But no, it wasn't. It was, the guy was like, it didn't like kill him or anything, but it was really weird. And he had an Asian wife, or he has an Asian wife, and they go to China all the time. I'm like, how do you live in China? He's like, I have to be very specific for what I do. I'm like, bloody hell, man. Like, that's terrible.
Dude, like half the American foods have garlic in it.
Yeah, he was a strange guy, but I think he might have been a vampire or something.
Oh, there you go. I got you.
That's why he had an aversion to the garlic.
Here I got like 47 cloves hanging up in my kitchen. I mean, I could eat garlic for cereal, man. I love that stuff.
Oh, I eat garlic every day, man.
Yep.
Every day.
I mean, they even make pills, like vitamin pills, the little capsules that are garlic capsules. They make those for you too. It's good for you. I just don't understand it. It's like people that are allergic to water. It's like, how are you made up of mostly water? It's kind of what
garlic
it seems like.
Garlic puts hair on your chest. I can tell you that much.
Oh, then you must eat a lot of it.
Doesn't help with my male pattern baldness or anything.
Oh,
why don't you just comb your chest hair upward?
Because I combed my back hair to the top of my head, Dave.
Well, if you combed it all over, you'd have a Sasquatch look to you.
Well, I wouldn't be able to see where I'm going if I comb my back hair to the top of my head and my chest hair to the front of my face. I'm blind.
That's called the comb over.
How am I going to hit the slot machines in Vegas and win $1 billion?
Well, I mean, if you do that, it won't be money that you win, but I guarantee you, you're going to get some attention. Just hang out with me, man. I'm going to dress up in something next year.
Oh.
Are we going to have a buffet next year with like all the dim sum we can handle, like curry squid and pan-fried pork dumplings? And
dude, don't. You're making me hungry.
Well, I'm always starving.
You know what's really funny is you have like an amazing chest of hair, and I have none. I don't get it.
Yours all fills up here, though.
Yeah, it comes here, but there's literally none. There's nothing there. I just don't get it. I don't know why. I just don't grow it. Oh well.
My grandfather was a hairy beast. He could have seriously passed for a Sasquatch.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, my grandfather, I'd never seen him with a shirt off. He's one of them dudes. Always wears a t-shirt, like one of those white under t-shirts, under everything, even a tank top. Doesn't matter. Oh boy.
Hey, so since I'm lame and boring, I wasn't gonna do any. I was gonna go camping this weekend in Junk, but
Because you're boring and lame.
yeah, I'm plain and boring and lame. Nonetheless, though, maybe Sunday evening, if you guys need someone to draw some cartoons for the last hour, I could be there for that.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
I am busy Saturday though. Very important dice rolling stuff.
Oh,
Oh, you're going Ninja Turtles or whatever the hell you do.
Oh, I wish I could play I wish I could play Ninja Turtles RPGs, Dave. That's my group is they're just set in like 5th edition stuff, and all I want to do is play GURPS. Honestly, I want to play GURPS. If anybody in the universe is playing GURPS and they live in Edmonton that can hear this, I want to play GURPS with you.
What the hell is GURPS?
It's the generic universal role-playing system, and it's just super simple stuff to just role-play whatever you want. RPGs, like it's basically Dungeons and Dragons without having to be like a warrior or a barbarian or plain like cookie cutter things. Because I like to make character. Sorry, go ahead.
Play my wolf game after this.
Wolf game?
Yeah.
What kind of game is that?
It's called The Wolf.
The Wolf. Is it capital T, The Wolf?
No. It's a free download. I play every night before or every day.
Oh, I don't even know where my phone is.
Oh shit. Dive into the world of wild wolves and live your life as one of them. Hey, that's actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool graphics. Is that on a phone or?
Let's see, because there's a couple of them. Let's see. Put it up on the screen.
All right, give me a second.
Bink.
Bink.
It's called the Wolf Simulator.
Wolf Simulator.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Hold on.
Is it just like an app or?
The Wolf Online. That's the one. RPG Simulator. That's the one.
Oh, what happened?
Well, you downloaded it now, Grant. So.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
That's the one. I play that every night. They just brought on a new hunting ground today, which is cool.
So cool. Can we be friends in it, Dave?
Yes, we can.
So you know what's really cool about this is I actually was playing a game called Far Cry Primal, and you're basically a caveman, and you get to run around and try to get different furs and bows, arrows, clubs, and stuff. I mean, it's kind of reminds me of that, except this is just all wolves.
Well, you should have played Ark.
So my kids are trying to get me to do it, but like literally, I
you know what,
I
Grant
barely have
Flavius, Flavius Maximus of the 13th Legion, if you want to play like a hunting gathering game that's just mindless but there's sort of a mission that has an ending, I'd play Valheim. I played it for a bit. I don't have time for that stuff. I get
I'll be right back.
Things like drawing cartoons.
I'm gonna go play the wolf while you guys play around.
Dave's going.
Is that what you call it, Dave? Is playing with the wolf?
He's going for a poop. It's like screw this. Somebody, he's gonna let the dogs out to go.
Hey, can we do some role playing in Vegas, baby? Is that what we're doing? We're gonna do some role playing in Vegas.
You know what? I can write up an adventure and we can knock out an RPG adventure. No problem, man.
Fuck yeah. Anyways, no, you know what I play every night when I'm laying in bed and I'm just
what game was that? Dave's playing the Wolves. What are you playing?
So on my phone before I go to sleep, I have one called Far Cry. It's not Far Cry. What the heck am I doing? It's Fallout Shelter. And yeah,
that's a little too technologically advanced for my stuff.
It's actually pretty nice. I played most of the Fallout games. Actually, I played them all. Who am I kidding? So I play a lot of Fallout. I play everything up to Skyrim. They went online, so unfortunately they don't have anything cooler after, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls. But then I play Just Cause. Oh goodness, what else do I got over here? I got Far Cry 6. I actually didn't like that game because it's too glitchy. But they came out with a one right after Far Cry 5 that's in between 5 and 6. And so that one's New Hope or something like that. That one's a good one. It's just real bright and a lot of pink tones, which is kind of cool.
Don't you got like a Super Nintendo or something, like a normal video game system instead of like, you know what, video game systems, all they are is like 4 or 5 franchises, and they just like release a new game every year, and everyone's like, oh yeah, that's the
Okay.
console stuff. And then you got like dweebs like me that play computer game. I play one video game basically anymore. It's Conqueror's Blade, and yeah, it's terrible. Don't play it. It's so broken and stupid. It's one of those games that's like sort of dying, but it isn't. And it's like there's like a bunch of dweebs that just keep playing it, and it's a mess. I don't know. I spend more time drawing cartoons. I love it. I love drawing cartoons.
You know, I do play video games, and I don't want to tell you how many consoles I have. I have. Let's
You have
just put it
Super
this way.
Nintendo?
Oh yeah,
You have
yeah.
a regular Nintendo?
Yep.
Oh. Well,
Yep.
one day, Grant, when I come down there, I was like, Miss Filth, I'm totally going to go spend a weekend at Grant's house. And
Oh, you need more than that, bud. I have almost every console that's made except for the GameCube. I had one, and I don't know what happened. I moved, and I think I left it in a box in a garage in
what's
one of
this
my
thing,
old houses.
GameCube? There's nothing. I've never played the GameCube. I
Well,
played.
see, you got to
played
take the GameCube
the
controllers and
Dreamcast.
plug it into the Wii.
No, I played Greencast. I played Dreamcast once.
Mm-hmm.
That was the Crazy Taxi.
Mhm.
I never like my favorite PlayStation 2 game was, well, currently is and always will be, PlayStation 1 rather. Sorry, is
Final Fantasy VII.
Well, no, that's
That's my favorite
that's a
PlayStation 1
good one.
game.
My favorite PlayStation game is actually my favorite Final Fantasy game is Final Fantasy 3
Oh,
on the Super Nintendo, and it's 3. So anybody listening, get bent. It's Final Fantasy 3. It's not Final Fantasy 6 because my cartridge says Final Fantasy 3.
3.
That's what it is, and that's what I knew when I was a wee lad back in the day.
This
But
is called the
nonetheless-
Mandela effect.
Well, no, because all the like Final Fantasy 2 was 5 or something in North America, and they do all the stupid like localization stuff. Anyways, wow, I'm really nerding out here on this video game stuff. Nonetheless, though, favorite Final Fantasy game ever: Final Fantasy 3/6, then 7, then 2. But overall, if someone sat me down and be like, you to play any Final Fantasy game, I'd be like, Final Fantasy Tactics, man. I got like 10 billion hours on that game. And you know what the thing is, though? I've played that game like my entire life since like 1997, I think, when it came out. And every time I added a friend or a girlfriend or anybody on that, I either broke up with them or that person died.
Oh,
So I was like, I'm never naming people like characters on this game. And I decided to name one of the characters after Mrs. Filth. Then we got married. Now look at us. And it's a complete fucking shit show. Good God. And I've never been happier. So I named all my friends and all the people on there. They've never died.
oh.
But the point is, I'm rambling. But Final Fantasy is a great series. And yes, I apologize.
You're good.
Spookles the cat is going to have to edit a lot of stuff out here. I'm just making a lot of work for her.
All I heard was curse this, curse that, and curse this.
Did I really
Nobody
say-
likes Final Fantasy 7. Everybody likes Final Fantasy 8. Or
Hey, wait a
Tactics.
second. Can I ask you what those birds are called that are gold colored?
Oh, they're the chocobos.
Chocobo. I guess that's not bad. That's acceptable. I've heard chocobo, chocobo. I
Chocobo.
personally always called them kookaboos.
That works too.
Yeah, well, anyway.
So anybody that's watching, Dave, we got to edit every bit of this out because I don't want
Yeah.
people knowing that I actually play video games. Like,
Yeah, the last 16 hours of Spaced Out Radio needs to be edited. Spookles is going to hate me.
We already know
No.
you're weird, so I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, who draws cartoons in a radio show? Look at the super cool. Look at Mothman hiding over there. Look at him. Just hiding in the corner.
Okay.
Memories.
Full on radio show of drawing cartoons.
He rolls. That's the way he rolls.
No, it's fine. Man, you know, it's crazy because when you called me today, you're like, oh, hey, you know, do you mind doing this? Sure. Coming on the show real quick. And all I did, and it's to the point now where the UFO phenomenon is a daily news topic. You can just type in you just say UFO and the date, and everything will just pop up. I mean, it's getting that easy to find.
Oh, yeah. I got a good game of Sudoku going on right now.
Oh, are you kidding me? I have one that I'm like 10 minutes in, and it's on hard, and I've almost cracked it. Oh,
I bounce between medium and hard.
What's that?
I bounce between medium and hard.
That's what I do. Are you on the same app, Sudoku.com?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm the same one. That is awesome. And here, I'll show anybody that sees Fallout Shelter. This is the one game, and I've someone in the chat says, "Oh man, it pissed me off, and I got bored, and I just deleted it." So I've been playing this game ever since the Fallout series. This Fallout Shelter came out, which was years ago. And then every now and then I delete it, and then I just go back and do it. Well, this is the longest run I've taken on it. I've had 200 dwellers before, and at this time, here, let me see if I can back this out so you can see it. Oh, I got something. Come on, stop. Stop. Go away. So if you look at it, these are all your little rooms, and they just keep going, and then you got rocks. I got 3 levels to go, but yeah, you got to take care of. Oops, I just moved someone. Let me put him in the rocks. But yeah, you got to take care of all those people, send them out in a desolate post-apocalyptic war zone of Earth, and have them collect random stuff and come back and give it to you, and you get to kill people. It's great.
I prefer my wolf.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I like my wolf. I'm about to level up to 74 out of 99.
Oh shit, you've been playing it a while.
What happened to Nicole? Nothing's happened to Nicole. She's been working a lot.
Hi, John. Good seeing you, bud. He lives in Wales.
Squid, we don't take callers here. Sorry.
Should have like a after hours call in. Oh no, Dave, you don't have the switchboard for that kind of thing. You need to hire like some like 1940s switchboard ghost to come in there and like do your switchboard stuff for you.
No.
Yeah, I guess you got to talk to people then.
Well, not only that, but there's a point where you got to screen it, especially if it's going over, because we're live radio. You got to screen some stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't like a guy like Dirty Filth calling in there.
No, we don't want that to happen at all.
Slumlord extraordinaire.
Slumlord. Is that a name in the chat room?
We can play pranks on other podcasts, though, like podcasts, and send you over to UFO Garage and just have you just randomly call in. I don't think they do call-ins either. I never can catch their show, but just send you over to somebody like F2B or something when he's doing his call-ins on Fridays or Thursdays or whenever. Just have you everybody, I believe in wolves and RPGs.
No, I don't got the charisma for that kind of stuff, like over the internet. But hanging out with you in person, I'll probably swindle you to buy me a Canada Dry ginger ale.
I can do that.
And then he'll burp all over you.
Yep.
Blue Cruise. You get to choose your own wolf, and you could save up gems or these new moons to buy your what they call a wolf skin, so you can be any type of wolf that you want. I don't put money into video games, so I'm a cheap ass.
But you're a cheap ass, but you're a really high level.
Dirty Filth. Jonathan Davies has requested to add a Welsh flag on a cartoon one morning for him.
Jonathan Davies wants a Welsh flag on a cartoon. You get a suitable pencil here. I'll put it up here.
John Davies is an awesome insider for SOR.
Well, that's doesn't matter whether he is or isn't. It matters he wants a Welsh flag. A Welsh flag on a cartoon. Is there some kind of you should? Oh bloody hell! You should ask him if there's some kind of Welsh cryptid or something.
Well, you just did.
Well, oh yeah, yes, eh? I keep forgetting we're still on the live chat room.
Let's see here. Welsh legends. Let's check it on out.
Well, you could plug it into Google, but he's probably got some kind of like
Welsh
special-
giants. Welsh dragons.
giants. That's why the Welsh, they probably punch the shit. I bet you. Anyways, I don't want to say too much. I got some Scottish friends, so Dirty Filth needs to add a Welsh flag.
Dragon.
Yeah.
He needs a dragon.
He needs a dragon. Does he want a dragon? I don't know what he wants. Tell him to email me.
Get just a dragon with a fucking Welsh flag. How hard could that be?
Yeah, but he might want a dragon with
Eating
a
a
Welsh
piece
flag.
of toast, drinking some tea, and it has bad teeth because they all have bad teeth over there.
It's just the English that have bad teeth.
I was gonna say I've talked to him before and I've seen his teeth and they're not bad.
No, John has good teeth. I'm just
Okay, so the dragon is gonna hold a shield that
I'll back you up, John. I'll back you up, bud.
what you can't. How are you gonna back him up, Grantavius Flavius Maximus?
I will fly to Wales and fight off the horde of wolves.
Okay, so
With
the
a beer in
dragon's
my
gonna
hand.
have. Hold on a second here. This is my brain thinking. Dragon's gonna have the Welsh shield, and it's gonna punch. It's gonna punch something that isn't Welsh. Definitely. Is that okay? I can't even look at the damn thing. The chat room's moving so fast. How do you do this, Dave? This is big. You have like some kind of like special thing of some sort. Nonetheless, though,
how about the dragon opening up a jar of haggis?
it's Scottish.
Close enough.
Haggis, Dave. It's haggis. It's not close enough. You ever had? If anybody ever digs on haggis, man, like you've never
You're eating
had.
guts.
It's,
How gross
Oh.
is
it's not just gut, it's lungs and liver and throw it in there. But no, seriously, if you've never had the
that? I used to call my ex-mother-in-law haggis.
doesn't matter, man. Haggis is delicious.
Oh,
I had the privilege of having one of the best butchers. He's like Gold Seal Scotland butcher. He lived in Edmonton. I used to buy my haggis off of him, and he had to move back after the weirdness of the world the last 2 years. He had to move back to Scotland because his business folded because people couldn't go buy stuff from him. And yeah, but nonetheless, Haggis is great. So not anyways, so
Jonathan just shared
Davies,
this.
Welsh flag on the dragon, punching, probably I'm gonna say some kind of English royalty with big teeth, right in the chops or something. I think that should work. Maybe. He's gonna have to email me and look
Don't
at that,
forget.
eh? Who has it? Who else beside the Welsh has a dragon on their flag? Not many people. It's like what's Canada doing? Ooh, we get a maple leaf.
Don't knock the flag, buddy. Don't knock the flag.
No, sorry, Dave.
You say foyer.
Oh, well. I've already written you my letter of how I feel about that.
Oh my goodness, excuse me. Oh my. Okay, well, what's the world's worst looking flag?
World's worst looking flag?
Oh my goodness.
China's is pretty ugly.
Yeah, it's pretty plain.
Oh, now I gotta look. World flags.
I mean, a red flag with 5 stars on it. At least the United States changes up the red with some white.
Brazil's is pretty ugly.
Brazil's is weird because it's like they have the planet, then they have the stuff flying around the planet, and they're like,
Antigua and Barbuda have a nice flag. It's kind of weird. It's all in triangles. Bangladesh green with a red sun.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. Oh, Bhutan also has a dragon.
Mm-hmm. Bulgaria is just red and green.
yeah, but does Bhutan have pipers? Like,
Look at Central African Republic. That one doesn't make sense. Looks like a couple of sandwiches split apart.
Oh, shit. What in the world is going on? S1Tini? I can't see exactly what's going on. There's a lot going on that one.
Hold on. Estonia and Finland have nice flags.
there's some pretty good heavy metal music coming from Finland and Estonia.
Guyana has a nice, cool flag with the triangles.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Fiji kind of looks like 3 or 2 flags got flown together.
Kyrgyzstan looks like a sun with a soccer ball in it.
Yeah.
Lebanon has a tree on theirs. Lesotho, don't even know where the hell that is.
Either. It looks like a hat.
Yeah. Gesundheit. Macedonia has a cool flag. I don't know what the hell Malta is. Marshall Islands is pretty cool.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at the Marshall Islands one, but the sun and it almost looks like a yellow and white. Something just fell out of the sky. I love it. Moldova has the crest. Mexico has a crest.
I like Nepal's flag.
Now, is that white? Is it a normal rectangular flag and we're just not able to see the white, or is it literally just two triangles? Okay. That's where my knowledge ends.
Triangle's pretty good. Saudi Arabia, I don't know what their flag says, but they got the sword on there. I don't understand South Korea with the tire treads on the outside.
Yeah. Yin yang with tire treads. They're going somewhere. Tonga. That reminds me of like a medical helicopter here in the States.
Hold on. Yeah. Uganda with the rooster on their flag. Uzbekistan, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't get that one either. I'm trying to see what's on the Venezuela one. Oh, you can't open it. Okay. Oh, there it is. Oh.
Gibraltar is pretty cool. Castle with a key. Oh, well. I'm done.
Yeah, me too. I think we clicked on this exact same site because you're.
Must have. All right. Tomorrow night on the show, we have our good friend Varla Ventura coming on in.
Good old Varla.
Yeah, Varla's going to talk some monsters tomorrow. And you know we love our Varla. And, excuse me. And then I want to say a big thank you tonight to D. Cohen, Simon, YJ, Thomas, Sweet Donnie Cho, and Eddie for the super chats. And, yeah, Dirty Filth will be back. Super Duke will rejoin us. And start of a long weekend here in Canada. So, good night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
You need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.